I not like it, but they gon' respect it, cause this is West Texas. I said it's game time. You know it's game time. Hey, cause they know it's game time. You know it's game time. I said it's game time. Come on. Hey, cause they know it's game time. Hey, who said they won't? We won't. Who said they ready? We ready. They might not like. We like it. But this is West Texas. They gon' respect. First off, I got my grades up, so I deserve every moment that I'm out on the field. I've been in practice all week, so you know what it is. We ain't come for the win, but we came for the kill. It ain't all about the all, boy. So why here we here, hard, boy? We for nothing but the Lord, boy. So when you come play us, we might rip out your heart and send you back home with some bruises and scars. Hey, put me in, coach, cause I'm ready to ball. I see the fear in his eyes like he already lost. You know I came with my A-game. Defense hitting hard like a freight train. We got the crowd going crazy. While the school colors in the stands look amazing. We don't need permission for the trophy, we just take. And the only way to get to the top comes from hard work and a lot of dedication. I said it's game time. You know it's game time. Hey, coach, they know it's game time. You know it's game time. I said it's game time. Come on. Hey, coach, they know it's game time. Hey, who said they won't? We won't. Who said they ready? We ready. They might not like. We like it. But this is West Texas. And they gon' respect it.
All right, Cover 1 is live. It's a special edition, Thursday night edition of Cover 1. We got Central Bobcat action, and why don't we just go ahead and start with a touchdown. Running back Darius Floyd with just a dive play right here. Carry the whole entire Midland Bulldog defense to the goal line for a touchdown. Bobcats are leading 7-0 first quarter.
Well, hello and welcome to Cover 1 Live here on SanAngeloLive.com. I'm Manny Diaz, bringing you Week 7 action starting on a Thursday night, joined by Matt Trammell, and of course our he's kind of has the night off, but not really. He's the wall play-by-play man, Perry Curnutt. Perry, as we kind of get the folks, why don't you say hello?
Well, good to be here. Good to be with y'all on a Thursday night edition of Friday Night Football. Can't go wrong with high school football any day of the week.
That you cannot, sir. So, yes. So we have a great game tonight. The Bobcats in action under the Thursday night lights. In fact, this is a must-win game for these guys because they're in an 0-2 district hole right now, trying to avoid 0-3. And it's against a pretty good Midland team, wouldn't you say, Matt Trammell?
Oh, definitely so. They beat the Odessa Broncos. The Odessa Broncos beat us. So, it's going to be a very tough matchup. It's going to be close. I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. In fact, we're going to break down this matchup here in a bit, and of course, we'll give you our matchups. Who we feel is going to actually pull this one out. Our staff picks, of course. You want to stay tuned for Matt Trammell's pick. This guy's always a hot take just waiting to happen. But nonetheless, Trammell, are you seeing anything that's kind of brewing there from highlights from San Angelo Stadium?
Well, right now, Midland High has the ball. They're driving. We can take a little peek into it and see what they got cooking. So this is a little bit of something similar to what you might have seen last year when we played Odessa Permian. Their head offensive coordinator moved to just right across the railroad tracks to Midland High, and this is what they're going to do. Just a little triple option play, handed off to the running back. Let him get a few yards. As Manny likes to say, a little dink, a little dunk. That's what the Midland Bulldogs like to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some arm in there. If they would have wrapped him up, they'd have got him at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
that's been one of the big problems all year long for Central. I've been saying that for weeks, Perry. I've been saying that they got to get more aggressive. They got to go hit them and not just go and with your arms out and try to grab them.
Well, I like what I've seen so far in this ball game is Midland High may have been reading their own clippings, so to speak, so it could be a trap game for them. I mean, they might have underestimated San Angelo Central somewhat.
Yeah, that's not a bad way to put it, Perry. I mean, Midland High, they're kind of riding out. I mean, they were off last week. The week before, just absolutely demolished Odessa High. Of course, we all know what happened to the Bobcats against Odessa High last week at Ratliff. I mean, it wasn't pretty to say the least. But here, it's somewhat of a decent game right now. Early goings of the first quarter. What we're seeing is somewhat a 2.0 version of Odessa Permian on the field tonight because the Midland High old ball coach, as Trammell said, he's making his way from Odessa Permian, spent 7 years as the offensive coordinator there at Mojo, served under Blake Felt and served under Coach Ellison as well. So this guy, he was very adamant that he was going to run the triple option there with the Midland Bulldogs. So we're seeing some interesting things going with that. Trammell, I see your arm going up, my man. What do we got?
All right, so it's third down for the Midland Bulldogs. This is what we wanted for the Bobcats, just showing a little defensive what am I looking for? A little defensive strength. So third down, this last set of downs, they went for it on 4th and 1, and they got it. Only got about 1 yard since then. This is a third down play, and the Bobcats get the stop and force the punt. So
Maybe.
They get the ball back.
Wow.
Unless Midland High decides to go for it, and they're in 4-down territory where they're across midfield. Be interesting. Be an interesting call.
So they ended up punting the ball. We can take a look. We can take a look at the punt. That's it.
All right.
And there it is. Almost got the block in that one. And just going to be a touchback. Bobcats take over the football.
Wow. Well, there we are. So the Bobcats just they're doing some things defensively tonight. So something we haven't seen quite a bit over the last few weeks. Matter of fact, we have some angles to kind of get to when we talk about these Bobcats because it hasn't been pretty, to say the least. And with all that said, in fact, let's kind of just go ahead and get into this thing here. So the Bobcats, as you can see here, the struggle has been real when it comes to these guys. Let's turn that off. Woes continue there. The central offensive, the defensive unit has given up over 1,500 yards rushing this season. On average, that's about 251.5 yards per game. If you've been following the Bobcats at any point this season, especially against Amarillo Tascosa, it was not pretty. They gave up over 500 yards rushing to the Rebels there. One fumble recovered this entire season. So if the Bobcats are looking for anything close to a victory tonight, well, they have to force Midland High to throw the football, get away from that triple option, have to stack the box, pressure this QB1 because this guy can burn you. As we'll kind of get to here in just a minute. So Trammell, when you see these Trammell, we've heard your takes a lot this season. Let's get with our guest here, Perry. When you see this, when you hear these kind of yards, 1,500 yards rushing this season that this defensive unit has given up, what does that tell you?
Well, for one thing, tackling. You've got to be able to tackle. You've got to be able to put a hat on a body. You've also got to be able to have a good scheme in which to put the pressure on the running back and force them to go to the air. That way you can maybe come in and do some stunts and get your offense back on the field from a defensive standpoint. Get your offense back on the field, let them generate some yardage. That way you're keeping their offense off the field. And that's, best offense is a good defense.
Yeah.
And with right now, with what we're seeing with San Angelo Central, it's going to be a game of field position, looks like tonight, because certainly they do not want to give Midland High short field. They need to make them march the length of the field, and right now I think they're down around the 20-yard line looking at maybe 3rd and long.
Yeah,
so
that's
they've got to be able to keep the momentum going and get that football at least near midfield before they kick it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. In fact, let's take a look at the Midland High offense. Certainly what these guys have been able to do this season. Senior QB1 Landry Walls, this dude passing 32 of 55 this season, 490 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, but rushing, this is what he kind of does, and you can see he's very balanced in what he does. 93 carries, 435 yards, 6 touchdowns, averaging más o menos 87 yards per game. Another cat to watch for tonight, senior running back Zion Ward, 86 carries, 474 yards, 7 touchdowns, right about 95 yards a game. And like we kind of told you earlier in the broadcast, this Midland High offense is very similar. This is Mojo 2.0. It runs that veer triple option offense. You best believe Thad Fortune, he spent 7 years as the Permian OC, first-year head coach, just like Kevin Crane. You best believe he's going to put his own tweak to this and do what he wants, if you will. So far, not too bad. I mean, he's 2-3, 1-0 in district play, coming off just a dominating win against Odessa High. So there we are. Midland High, not looking too bad. 2-3 on the season, 1-0 in district play. Meanwhile, Matt Trammell.
I think they've been looking pretty dang good, especially from the team that they were last year, that they finished second to last in district. So for them to even be leading Central, or be coming playing with Central, even though they may not be as they are last year, and going and beating Odessa, they're showing a little promise and a little bit better than what they have been in the past.
Yeah. Well, and on a night like tonight, it's a little warm out there still, so conditioning is going to play a part as you get into the later stages of this ball game. And if Central can maintain their conditioning and maintain their discipline and everything, Central has a pretty good shot, I think, from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, and remember, but Midland, they did have that bye week last week, so they probably watched a few extra hours of film and got a little extra sleep. But nonetheless, it's third down for the Bobcats, so let's go ahead and take a look at it and see if they can get it. It's balls on about the 38-yard line. Tyler Hill, can he get it done? Throws it down the field off the receiver's gloves. No good.
Come on.
Central's going to have to punt. 7-0.
Well, they have the opportunity to get the football. I mean, what I was saying is they didn't want to get trapped down behind the 20-yard line to kick that football. So now they've got the opportunity to put the football on down.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of a thing that the Bobcats, I mean, they have, I guess you can kind of compare them to maybe a Texas Tech offense of yesteryear. A Texas Tech, I mean, the Red Raiders, they're actually they're actually winning ball games and, completing drives, más o menos, to say the least. But with Central, they're getting in. I mean, they don't have any trouble moving the ball. It's just being able to kind of get over that Rubicon of, where they need to get into the end zone and making it that far into the drive. That's where they're struggling to finish, to say the least.
And no mistakes and no penalties, and that plays a part when you start getting that short field down inside the red zone, or even from the 30. I mean, you've got to be able to play disciplined football, no mistakes. Execute your offense, make the blocks, and, I mean, that's what football is all about.
Yeah, no, I would agree, sir. Matt Trammell, what you got?
Let's just go straight into it, Manny. The Midland Bulldogs have the ball, and they are driving. Here's just a good example of what their offense looks like and what they're going to do to try to attack the Bobcats. Not only will they do these little handoffs, but watch this tricky little play. So it fakes the handoff there, and it turns into a little option out there. Makes one miss, going to drag one all the way to the first down, and the Midland Bulldogs are past half field, midfield. There you go.
Wow. In Bobcat territory, to say the least. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. All right.
That was well executed. That was a pretty good – I mean, they sold that dive play well and got the corner sealed and were able to get out to the outside.
Perry, you've been around the block. You've seen a lot of football over the years. You cover the Wall Hawks, who run this wing tee, run heavy. When you see offenses like this, is this too old school now that we're in 2021, or do you like that you still see things like this?
Number one, it's a flex bone, which is a triple option. You will you'll run at the strength of the defense, or you'll run away from the strength of the defense, depending on what you're successful at. For Wall, they like to take it to the outside. They like to get the seal to the inside, take it to the outside, and that way, if you got bigger, maybe faster defenders, particularly along the line of scrimmage, well, that kind of negates that.
Yeah, no, I would completely agree with that, because it's a defense, or it's an offense we're not seeing a whole lot of, but
Navy runs it.
Yeah, Navy still. Yeah, we're still seeing some of these groups still run it.
Who knows? It may circle back. You never know.
Yeah. So
there's still plenty of teams that, especially like these little high school teams, stuff like that run it. Maybe not at the college level, but to keep offenses going and keep keep it up. That's how you do it. Is keep it going in the little leagues. So,
Well,
back at it at San Angelo Stadium. This one is not looking good for the Bobcats, but no touchdown. But it gets pretty close. You talked about the quarterback earlier. This is just a run all the way by him. He gashes the defense, gets all the way to about the 12-yard line. So now they are knocking on the door.
Man, Perry, this is one thing we've been seeing all season long with this group is the fact that they can't stop anyone, and it's really difficult to watch, to say the least.
Well, speed will kill you in football. If you've got someone like this quarterback for Midland High, looks like he has a lot of speed, you can get around to the corner and you can make a lot of people either a step or two behind you. And right now it looks like Central's a little bit on their heels. They're like a half a step, maybe a full step behind the speed of this Midland High offense. And certainly he'll find the seam. And once he finds the seam, he gets downfield blocks, and it looks like his receivers are doing a good job of that.
Wow.
And just exactly what he's saying, man.
Yeah, I think I'm seeing it in the monitor here, Trammell. Let's just go out to that. Let's go back to San Angelo Stadium.
So first play of the second quarter there for the Midland High Bulldogs. Just a run right again. Same guy. Give it to him. Let him cook. That's a touchdown. Tie ball game at San Angelo Stadium. From a touchdown from Landry Walls.
Yeah, the Trammell. So we're seeing the Landry Walls show kind of come to life.
Yeah, that's what we talked about when the pregame was kind of, can they stop this quarterback? Is he going to just run all over him? And right there, two big plays, the touchdown and the one that set him up, were just designed quarterback runs. They weren't even option plays or anything. They were designed quarterback runs where running backs were blocking and getting in front of people, like Perry said, find the lane, and tore them up.
Well, when the game started, it was 3 and out. It gave the offensive coaches time to maybe see what kind of scheme that San Angelo Central was going to come out with, and so far they've been able to exploit it.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's kind of been surprising. Well, at least for folks here around West Texas, Midland, they started off the season with the win against El Paso Montwood, beating the Rams 41-24. They dropped 3 straight against Amarillo, Lubbock Monterey, Lubbock Coronado. But these games, with the exception of Lubbock Coronado, they lost 42-17. But games against Amarillo, Lubbock Monterey, Amarillo was 28-21, Lubbock Monterey 23-21. So it's not like they were completely out of these ball games. I mean, if they're probably maybe a few mistakes away from either being probably 4-1 or something like that. I mean, it's something that we've seen with these Bobcats where, these guys they do some great things but they just can't quite finish it. Finishing is probably that element that they're trying to figure out over there in Midland.
Well, and offensively, they've got to show some patience. I just watched this one play, and the quarterback, he waited for things to open up instead of trying to force the issue. He waited for it to develop and waited for his blocks to develop. So, he's a young quarterback, as I understand, and he's going to learn all that. And it looks like he's learning it tonight going forward.
We can take a look at that play if you want to.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Let's do it.
Go back to San Angelo Stadium, courtesy of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Trammell, what you got?
All right, so here's the play that Perry was talking about. This is Tyler Hill. He's just sitting there watching. Finds a lane and gets a first down for the Bobcats. They're nearing midfield. They are past the 45-yard line.
Now, I think that's the biggest thing to appreciate. I think you would relay that you would say the same, Trammell. Tyler Hill, one of the more athletic kids in this program.
Definitely. Remember last year, that was Malachi Brown's #1 receiver. So when you take a guy who was a receiver and you move him at quarterback, you're never going to lose his legs. But you just hope that he can develop not only his arm, but his accuracy and his mind of how he's going to do stuff, his brain a little bit. And if you can get that, then you can get it all going. But if he's just the athlete back there, then things may not work out if your quarterback's your best athlete on the team.
Trammell, I'm seeing something develop right now. In fact, you can run it back because. Okay, let's kind of get this. So Sammy Navarrete, Bobby Boucher is who they reference him to for the Central Bobcats, the star running back. He is out tonight with a concussion. Well, he doesn't have a concussion, but they're following his family's following concussion protocol. But this guy has just been on fire this entire season. It's allegedly it was supposed to be hurting the Bobcats if they didn't have him tonight, but I don't know, Trammell. By the way we're seeing things, is certainly how this is going to develop. This play here, they may be all right.
Yeah, the number one question was or were they going to find somebody else to take that role over? And this play, they definitely did. Let's check it out. So Berkshire Hathaway gives you this one. Just a little handoff. He had the first touchdown. Darius Floyd, give it to him again. He finds the rumble. He's hard to take down. He cuts back. He's got blockers, and they look like they're ready to get it for him. He shakes off one, shakes off another, gets pushed out of bounds at about the 25-yard line.
Wow.
About opportunities.
Yeah, that's Darius Floyd. This kid, Perry. I don't know if you've heard of him, read anything about him, but he's a man disguised as a 16-year-old.
Okay. I seen one of those last week. Shiner.
Yeah, you saw a lot of that with the Shiner Comanches against the Wallhawks.
Them a little more so probably
Yeah.
than this guy.
Exactly.
I kept saying last week, and the refrigerator gets another touchdown, man. That guy was huge.
All right, Trammell, let's how about we go back, we pop back to San Angelo Stadium, because if you're a Bobcat fan, well, you're going to love this.
Let's do it. Tyler Hill keeps it. A little quarterback keeper. Make one miss. Touchdown, Bobcats.
Dun, 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 dun,
Takes
dun,
the
dun,
lead
dun,
back.
dun. There we go, yeah. Bobcats getting on the board here. Now, Trammell, I am seeing that they're perhaps, we might look at this field goal or this extra point attempt.
We'll stick with it.
Yeah, so we'll go back out to Trammell if you want to just hit the rewind button on that.
Yep,
because so that made it 13-7 with Tyler Hill getting in the end zone. You want to check out this next play here in extra points, 2-point conversion attempts, always huge in big ball games. And check this out. You'll see where I'm going with this. And, well, didn't
interception, and is he going to take it? There's not many people there to tackle him. Just one more.
Oh, my gosh. Look at
And
this guy.
makes the play. Does he? Breaks another one. Oh,
wow.
all the way down to the 15-yard line.
Takes Colby Moore to take him down.
Scary play
No,
there
that's
for the
not Colby
Bobcats.
Moore.
But, hey,
That's
no harm, no foul. 13-7. That's insane, Manny. I can't believe that.
Yeah, that's I don't.
What are you doing? Why aren't you just going to kick the field goal?
Yeah, well, I don't think they anticipate. Perry, do you think that was anticipated or that was designed or? What your thoughts?
I didn't see enough of it to be able to give you a truthful answer. It looked like maybe got blocked. Or it was intercepted.
Here, yeah,
It was intercepted, but I guess to start the play
let's run it
there,
again and.
All right, so
because it looked like it was just off of the snap here that maybe it went
May have been
a
a
little wongo.
bad snap.
he catches the snap. He does kick it. No, he just kept it the whole time. No,
Yeah, it was a fake all the way.
It looked designed.
It was
Okay.
designed, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
So designed.
I
To an
didn't see,
interception.
I didn't see a receiver in the end zone for the.
No.
Yeah, he's right here. Look, let me go back real quick. He's right here. Wait. Pause.
Okay. Yes.
Here,
Okay.
here, and here.
Well covered.
Oh yeah, they knew it was coming.
Yeah,
all the way.
that was extremely well covered. It's
And all the way to the 15. This is good hustle though by the Bobcats because you could just let him score there and get your 2 points, but hey, might as well go make a play.
the kicker gave it the college try.
Yeah, hey, that's it.
Well,
Slowed him down long enough.
It begs the question: why would you do it? It just,
Yeah.
Right now, well,
I'll be 14-7.
I think we can probably make the argument. I mean, the Bobcats. I mean, they're 0-2 right now in district play. You need something to kind of just revive this
magic-
team. You need a little bit of magic.
The magic field goal fake.
you just
that
marched
saved
it down
season.
you marched it down the field and scored a touchdown.
Okay, so if I'll armchair quarterback this here. I'll play Kevin Crane right now.
Okay.
I may have not gone with that. I see his logic. Am I necessarily going to do it? Probably not, but I understand it. Nonetheless, Bobcats leading this one 13-7. Perry, is that surprising? If you're armchair quarterbacking this, if you're sitting behind the Xbox controller, do you like that move?
No, I would have kicked it. I mean, to me, it looked like it was designed as a fake, and You saw how well it was covered. Maybe later, maybe towards the end of a half or something, where you need it. Right now, the Bobcats, they have the momentum, and I don't know what they would have gained had they, other than 2 points. But I'm not a coach. I'm like y'all. I'll just look around and make my opinions known.
Absolutely. Trammell, we always see the 2-point conversions. We see the extra point attempts. They sometimes come back to bite teams.
Yeah.
Do you think this has the potential to do that?
Well, I mean, we've been seeing that this is a close game. It's been neck and neck. What if you lose by 1? That'd be really tough, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And plus, think of this. I've never seen a season come back. The season has been changed because we got that we got that fake field goal week 6 against Midland High.
Yeah.
So,
well, Trammell,
looks like your options.
Looks like Midland has marched into Bobcats territory, and it's goodness gracious. This defense is just getting clawed up. My goodness, let's take a look at that. Let's go back out to San Angelo Stadium, courtesy of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services here.
All right, so same thing. It's just that little option with a flip out, and then just make a miss.
Well, we'll stick with this. And it's not like the Bobcats have not seen this season. Amarillo Tascosa has been, just chewed them up, spit them out with this offense. Obviously, Tascosa may run this offense maybe just a tad bit better than Midland High, but they saw this. I mean, this is something they haven't. It's not exactly new to this team.
Man. And then there's this one, just the fullback dive that gets them about 30, gets them all the way to the other side of the field at the 45-yard line. So the Midland High Bulldogs are marching. We'll see what happens.
Well, somebody missed an assignment there.
Yeah, that's exactly what that looked like, Perry.
Because you have the defensive end, you have a linebacker, and one of them's supposed to take the quarterback, one of them's supposed to take the running back, and somebody looked like they got somebody out there and might have sealed the inside and got somebody out on to the cornerback, and he just found the seam. It was easy.
Yeah, that's yikes. Missed assignments is certainly what this defense is kind of,
and it could have been somebody.
A few of those hiccups this season.
Could have been somebody just crashed down in on the interior of the Bobcat defensive line, and
exactly
nobody was out there.
Sometimes, on the offensive line, you let one slip a little hard, let him bite down just a little bit easier, kind of just get him trapped up in there, and it'll leave one seam open and just find you a little hole for the quarterback carry the ball, running back carry the ball, and then you're gone.
Somebody took the dive play, and nobody got out to get the running back.
Exactly.
Yeah, last week that was a little difficult for those Wall Hawks against, what was the last name? It was
the Brooks Brothers.
Brooks Brothers,
and they weren't suits.
Perry, I say this every time I say something. You're about to bring something. You've seen a lot of football, especially covering the Wall Hawks. Do you think the Hawks have seen a team that fast, that quick, that big since you've been calling football for these guys?
Good question. Right off the bat, no. This Shiner team, they were nothing fancy. They lined up with a simple offense. They had a simple defense, and if you're going to beat them, you're going to have to come right at them. And certainly those guys stood their ground, and they had the size, they had the speed, and they didn't have to do anything fancy. All they had to do just line up, smash mouth football, and that's what it was.
Yeah, that was watching the Brooks brothers. And seeing, Dalton Brooks, this guy's, anywhere, America, college, Georgia, LSU, Alabama. You just go the laundry list of SEC schools that are after this guy. That's what you saw last week.
The shoebox full of commitment letters. That's what I always call the shoebox full.
Well, he was the younger one. Dalton was the younger one, and they would try to get him in space against the Wall Hawks because he had the speed. Not that his brother was slow. His brother's big and fast, but they would try to get him to the outside. They would try to get the ball in his hands. And for Wall's credit, for the most part, they contained that young man, but, man, they just had a lot of weapons.
Well, as the kids would say, Perry, I don't want that smoke, I wouldn't want, Big Doug Brooks. I wouldn't want to meet him in the hole. That guy is 6 foot 260, 265. No way I'm wanting to do that.
I
So,
thought about-
I don't blame them. I
I'd
don't
have to
blame
have a
them.
neurosurgeon and a chiropractor on my.
Oh Lord, he probably ran at least a 4.4, 4.6, and he was 280.
definitely.
Yeah.
He was a monster.
Definitely.
All right, Trammell, looks like we may have an update. What do we got here?
All right, so it's third down for the Midland High Bulldogs. Can the Bobcats get the stop that they're looking for? Let's go ahead and take a look. So the quarterback takes it, and he's just going to keep it all the way, going to make a miss, arm tackling, and touchdown.
Touchdown number 2 on the night for Mr. Landry Walls.
I know it's the
senior
Landry
QB1.
Walls show out here. They do get the extra point. That's going to make it 14-13. Now the game's not tied. The Midland Bulldogs lead.
Well, I mean, there we go. The Bobcats, give them the credit. I mean, they're sticking in this. They're holding. I guess they're holding their own at least through 1.5 quarters of play here in San Angelo tonight. Week number 3 of the little of the district season, District 2-6A. But I hope we don't see that extra point attempt or the 2-point conversion attempt come back to bite them. That's a tough thing. Nobody wants to lose by 1.
Well, there's a lot of football left to play in this ball game, and I don't know exactly where they're at in the second quarter, but it'd be incumbent upon the Bobcats to go in and get a score and take it into the locker room and bring that momentum back out in the third quarter. But right now, they're going to have to find an answer to trying to contain this quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just a little update for the people out there. There's 7 minutes and 27 seconds left in the second quarter. Both teams have 2 timeouts left.
All right, so makes sense. Bobcats, they do have the ball right now. They do have both timeouts remaining. So, like Perry said, you go down there and you score, you're not in bad shape, to say the least.
Yeah, you keep the Midland High offense and that quarterback on the sidelines. You need a long, sustained drive, and that's going to do a number of things for you. It's going to wear that defense out. Plus, it's going to keep your offense and keep the quarterback for Midland High off the field because right now he's starting to take over the game.
Yeah, well, speaking of taking over the game, Trammell, does it look like we may have a Darius Floyd sighting here?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I'll pull it up.
Okay, all right. So it appears Darius Floyd with Samuel Neveretti out of this game due to concussion protocol. The team wants to kind of just make sure that he's okay. May have kind of been banged up last week in the loss to Odessa High, but he's been very much the glue to this offense. He is out tonight. So a lot of talk, certainly around town today was like, okay, so what are they going to do? What offense are they going to generate? And it appears that Darius Floyd might be the guy tonight. What do you say, Trammell?
Yeah, I think so. Before we take a look at that one, though, first, Manny, let's take a look at the kickoff. It was a scary moment for the Bobcats as they almost lost it. So both of these teams tonight have been doing some really weird stuff on the kickoff. Here's another example of it. Just a little pooch kick, just kick it as high as you can and try to go get it. 2 people try to fair catch it. Ball's on the ground. They're fighting for it down there. It didn't look like Central had it at first, but then they take a look at it, and the
officials like it, yeah.
It's Bobcat football.
Okay, so
Good field position.
yeah,
Definitely.
not bad at all. So
Sorry, go ahead, Manny.
So the Bobcats, they retain the football there. Perry, hopefully special teams does not play a factor tonight.
Well, they were hoping to maybe catch the Bobcats off balance, maybe those up-backs running back to try to get in kick coverage, and they was trying to just a little pooch kick to try to run underneath it. And credit to the Bobcat up men, they tried a fair catch, just too many of them trying the fair catch.
Yeah,
sure.
it's like baseball. You got to call for it. All right, so next play, very first play of this drive. Let's see what happens. Darius Floyd, give him the ball and let him do his thing. He's got big runs already tonight, and here's another one. Gets all the way down to the 32, 34-yard line. That's going to be a first down for the Bobcats. They're driving.
Wow.
And watch it. It was a tackle or guard that pulled over there that sprung him.
That's what it looked like. And one thing I love about Darius Floyd is the way he protects that football. I mean, he is just arms all over that thing as he's about to go down. The dude, he just does it right. He's playing the game right. Trammell, we have some more goods to go back to.
I was just going to take another look at it. Perry's talking about this offensive line. Let's just take a look at how good they are. He kicks it out, finds the hole, and just seals it exactly like he's supposed to. Gets all the way down to the 34-yard.
Run that back, because look at 75.
That left tackle, yes.
Yeah, 75 kind of just sets the tone with that.
Watch him.
Not only does he pull through, but after the pull through, this is very important. You got to watch him. He's right here. Not only does he go, but he seals this right here. He goes and he turns his hips
exactly
to open that hole all the way, and there you go. Running back gets all the way down there.
He made initial contact, and he found that the guy was already blocked, so he just moves down the line or moves up the field and gets the seal block that was sprung that.
That's right. Find another helmet.
Yeah. Get a hat on him, as Tommy Davis used to say. Trammell, when you see that play, I mean, I know you enjoy the big plays like that, the smash mouth plays.
Oh, I do, definitely. I like the big boys. I like to get rough in there. Hit them hard. I like it. That's why I always enjoyed going to the Wall Hog football games. Some people, they like to go to high-scoring games. I kind of like, sometimes going to one of my very first games I ever went to working at San Angelo Live was Wall Mason at the Puncher Dome, and it was pouring rain. And there was mud everywhere, and it was awful. But it was awesome at the same time because it's just smash mouth football.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Trammell, looks like let's go back out to San Angelo Stadium. We saw Darius Floyd get things going here. Looks like there may be something else for the Bobcats.
All right, let's see. So they got doubles here, 2 in the bag. They're going to send one there. Is it a reverse? No, it's not. He's looking for his man, wide open, catches it, takes a few steps, fumbles it in the end zone, and they're going to call it no good.
So did he drop
incomplete?
They're going to say it's an incomplete. They're going to talk about it. Let's see. Incomplete pass.
Incomplete. So that was Jacob English. This guy usually has some solid hands on him. There, in fact,
not so much.
Yeah, let's take one more look at that.
Did he knock it out of his own
wide
hands?
Open, just beat his guy. The guy, it looks like they were the defense was confused whether or not it was zone or man or.
I think if there was a review in high school football, I think this would be reviewed. I think this is a fumble out of the back of the end zone.
It would have been a touchback.
Yeah, because
does he make a football move?
He does.
I think he does. He catches it and he tucks it.
Yeah,
and his arm comes out and starts to run.
Yes.
And then he reaches back for it.
So he ran with it for just a touch.
About 3 yards.
Yeah, he took off for a little bit.
Oh man, let's check this out one last time. So he catches it right there, 1, 2, 3, and then drops it in the end zone. They're gonna call it no good though.
That's a big break for Central.
Oh, that's that's a tremendous break for Central right there.
If they called it incomplete, yes.
Oh, absolutely. So incomplete football. We'll come back and see if they can score.
Yeah. So there's a little under 6 minutes. 6 minutes to go here in the first half. The Bobcats trailing 14-13 against Midland High. We saw a Darius Floyd run that got them deep into Midland High territory. And Jacob English just couldn't. I mean, he hauled it in, but he kind of just bobbled the ball in the end zone, not able to kind of cash this thing in for 6. Looks like the Bobcats, this offense is doing some things. Kevin Crane he's throwing it out there. We'll see what happens here. It looks like Trammell, what do we got here? Let's go back out to San Angelo Stadium.
Yeah, so this very same drive, it's 3rd down now, but it's not only 3rd down, it's about 3rd and 15, Manny. And there's only one option, I guess, for the Bobcats at this point, and it's just throw it up to somebody. That number 17 up the top.
So that would be Baylor.
So he throws it up. He has the steps on him, ball's in his hands, and he drops it. No good. It's going to be 4th down. We'll see what they do.
Baylor Johnson there. He is just returning back from injury. I believe he had suffered a broken collarbone. He suffered it in the scrimmage against Abilene Cooper to start the season. This guy finally back. He's kind of like he's long, he's very tall, and he's got some wheels on him. So the guy can do something when the ball is thrown his way. maybe that's just kind of the first game jitters back there. But Trammell, do we have something else developing there?
Yeah, so it's 4th down now. They're gonna call it the field goal unit, guys. Remember last time it didn't work out so well. Let's see if they actually just decide to kick this one.
This is a 40-yarder.
Ball's up, and they're gonna say it is no good. 14-13. Oh, what a tough way to end that drive.
Yeah, Midland High will take over, and they'll have fairly good field position. So, and it's a game of field position. But I mean, you can't blame Central for going for a field goal if they got the kicker to do it.
It looked like he was was it wide left, wide right? What did we see with that? Did you kind of catch a glimpse of that, Trammell?
It's kind of hard to tell. It looks like it looks like it was left.
Wide left?
Yeah, it looks like it's wide left, but it almost had enough on it. If you look at the end of this play, it looks like it had enough on it.
Has the leg, not necessarily the angle.
Right,
This one
the
here.
accuracy.
Yeah, so if you just look at the left, it hits one of these band props over here.
Yeah.
It almost hit that little trumpet player right near the little dome
Almost
piece.
went through
Watch
a door
out!
or window.
Yeah, so nonetheless, score stays at 14-13.
Yep.
5 minutes left.
5:02 remaining here in the first half. But hold the phone. We are watching this as we speak, and it appears that this defense, we've been just shedding light on this defense all season long, hoping just for something to happen. But Trammell, do we have? Am I rubbing the crystal ball right here?
Yeah, let's go right into it, Manny. So the Midland High Bulldogs, they're just doing the same thing. The Bobcats know what they're going to be running, and that's running. So tries to pitch out that time, but doesn't get it. Bobcats pick it up, and that's a turnover that they needed. First fumble in weeks, Manny.
Since week 1.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's see it again.
Opportunity now for the Bobcats. Bobcats need to take this football, use probably 3, maybe 4 minutes, get it into that end zone, take it into the locker room, and you got a ball game.
Yeah. That's just the second takeaway this entire season, Perry. And, I mean, if that doesn't – I mean, that's huge. That's a huge momentum shift for these guys. I mean, since we're now in week 7, so it's been 6 weeks since the Bobcats last recovered a fumble. That's crazy to think about that. But, I mean,
timely.
Johnny, timely, very, very timely. Johnny on the spot for these guys. Man, how much does that juice you up there, Perry? Seeing the Bobcats get one there.
I'm happy. I wish I was doing the play-by-play right now. No, but they had their assignments. They got the dive back. They got the quarterback. So, and might have surprised that dive back because he got stripped.
Yeah, so it's a big thing going on there for the Bobcats. Huge momentum shift. In fact, that was kind of a thing that we were, amongst our production meetings this week. This is what we were talking about. The Bobcats have to get pressure in the backfield, have to force some turnovers if you want to win. And this here, that's in the right direction. Finally, that we're seeing with the Bobcats getting something going here.
Yeah, and keeping the Midland High quarterback on the sideline, and that's very important because that guy was killing us.
Yeah, he was. Trammell, what do we got?
All right, so this has not just been the Landry Walls show. We're getting a little Tyler Hill action now. Just design quarterback run, follow your blockers, make a couple miss, and a Bobcat touchdown. That's
touchdown
right,
number 2
20-13. Number 2 for Tyler Hill.
Now they'll go
quarterback
for 2.
battle.
Now, Perry, do you go for 2 in this instance?
You go for 2.
You might as well. That was a nice run. You can, now that you ran it with him, you can open it up and you can pass it. I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to go for the extra point. They do go for the extra point, and they're going to make it. But I'm sorry, I got to spoil it for you guys.
Trammell, spoiler alert here.
Here it is.
All right, so touchdown number 2 for Tyler Hill. The Bobcats went for 2 early on in the game.
He made that one.
Got this one here, did not attempt that. So, well, here we go. So the Bobcats, the good guys, finally getting something going. So that means 20 to, what is that?
14.
2013?
20 to 13, or 20 to 14, I'm sorry. Little less than 3 minutes to go, about 2:34 remaining here in the first half of play. Perry, seeing these Bobcats, I mean, how much life do you think is rejuvenated? The defense finally gets one with these guys.
Well, it's momentum, and you're going to find out when the defense goes against Midland High's offense here in the final 3 minutes of this half. It is going to be interesting to see if they're able to contain that quarterback, number one, and number two, play disciplined football and keep your assignments. And all they have to do is have one big play against that quarterback, and it's going to give that offense something to think about, particularly that quarterback.
Well, it'd be nice to see another turnover from the Bobcats if they can get one. One would be magic right now, just because under 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Heck, even if it's not a turnover, even if they just make the Bulldogs stall right now, and get a good punt, get a good and take one back for getting back into Midland territory. You never know. I mean, it's the Bobcats run a spread offense. These guys can score quick, fast, and in a hurry.
It's important to keep Midland out of the end zone right now. I mean, you don't want them to take any momentum into the dressing room, because they're talented enough. You watch this quarterback, and he's going to try to find a hole and exploit you every way he can. And right now, the Bobcats seem like they're doing a pretty good job. Yeah. Right now, but it just takes one missed tackle, and that guy can go he can go the field.
That he can. And Trammell, I just saw a play that perhaps the Bobcats. I mean, we're riding high on this defense. Maybe we need to just hold the phone on them. But if we can, let's go back into San Angelo Stadium and let's take a look at this last play, because this says so much of this Midland High offensive line here, what they're doing.
Yeah, just big push up front.
Look at those big guys out.
If he doesn't trip himself up right there on his shoelaces, Manny, we might be having a different play.
Right. Look, he had a convoy in front of him.
Yes, he did.
The Bobcats had a run stunt on, tried to blitz a little bit right up the middle.
Got him blitzing, and if he wouldn't have tripped over his shoelace, man, look, his guys are already up there past the 50.
Yeah, that turf monster.
It'll
came
bite
up clutch for the Bobcats in that play there. So
sometimes it'll bite you.
Yeah. So there we are. Trammell, do you think the Bobcats have a chance to at least get a stop or shift the momentum back in their favor here?
Well,
keep the momentum.
Well, it's third down right now. So if they can get it, well, then I guess that's the answer. I think the only way we can do it is watch it.
All right, so let's go back to San Angelo Stadium. Let's check out the third down play.
Oh, just kidding. We got some whistles. We got a false start by Midland High. All
right, so
that is momentum killers right there, drive killers. But with Midland High and their quarterback and the talent they have on the offensive side of the board, field, it's going to be tough. Bobcats need a stop here, and they need to get some penetration.
So give or take about a minute to go there from San Angelo Stadium. Midland High with the rock as they're closing in at midfield, at the midfield point there, as they lead Midland High 20-13 in this one tonight. The Bobcats right now 0-2 in Little Southwest Conference play. If there was a time to get a win, it is absolutely tonight. They cannot fall to 0-3 because the next 3 games, next week they have a bye. Then after that, Midland Legacy, Odessa Permian, Abilene High. This schedule is extremely backloaded for the Bobcats. These games, not any disrespect to Midland High or Odessa High or Friendship, but these were games that the Bobcats kind of supposed to win.
They were supposed to win, yes.
Yeah, and it's tough seeing them in this hole right now, Perry. But man, I mean, you got to live with it, and they got to dig themselves out.
Well, the success that Central has had, and I mean, coming into this season, nobody expected to see the Bobcats 0-2 in district.
Right.
It's been a surprise to just about everybody, and I've got confidence in that coaching staff. They'll get it figured out. And
Yeah, it's bound to be figured out. Hopefully, there's
starting
still enough
tonight.
time.
Yeah, starting tonight.
Hopefully, there's enough time. Trammell, do we have a development from San Angelo Stadium?
Yeah, so we kind of read that wrong. It actually was an offsides on Central's part.
Oh, man.
So the chains moved, but they did face another third down, and here's that third down play. Let's see what happens. There's not much time left. We're underneath a minute here. Just hand off to your guy. He's been torching them all night. Gets all the way down to about the 30, well, we'll call it 38, 37
Yeah,
yard
that
line.
is Zion Ward, senior running back there.
23 seconds left.
How many timeouts?
There's
Both have 2.
Yeah, so we're still working with something good there. Let's come back to the studio here as we kind of just wait for a development in this one here. So Zion Ward, that's the last guy that you saw running the football there for the Midland High Bulldogs. This guy, he's done some things this season so far through 5 games, 86 carries, 474 yards, 7 touchdowns, averaging right about 95 yards rushing for the Bobcats per game. So this is a guy that they kind of count on next to Landry Walls, the senior QB1. Trammell, looks like it could be the Zion Ward show for the rest of this drive. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks like so. This is the very first play after the timeout. Going to hold them up. It's only 23 seconds left, so you'd think they would like to get out of bounds. But they're just going to hand it off to their guy right there and bounce
Zion
it.
Ward.
Right off left tackle.
Oh, my goodness. These arm tackles that are just not one. Didn't even see anybody wrap up.
Yeah, down all the way to the 21-yard line.
Well, you got to credit that Midland High offensive line, that left side particularly. They're getting the blocks, and they're holding on to those blocks, and they're getting blocks downfield.
Yeah.
16 seconds left.
Okay.
No timeouts left for Midland.
So, armchair quarterback here, Perry. What do you like for Midland High to do with the rock for 16 or so seconds?
I hope they fumble it. I mean, if you're a Central High fan, but they're going to do what they've been doing. They're going to try to go to the outside, find some open holes, and maybe try to get into that end zone and go into the locker room with the momentum.
Yeah, well, in fact, let's go ahead and let's see if that came to fruition here. 16 seconds left. Bobcats leading 20-14. This look-in presented by Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Trammell, cue the tape. All right, so there he is.
They're actually going to pass it, or they're going to try to. Just throws it out of bounds.
Nothing there. Nothing doing here.
You've got to be careful. You got to be careful down on this side of the field. The Bobcats can't afford to play what we'd say a soft prevent here, because if you get the guy in open field, either the back or the quarterback in open field, chances are he's going to just sidestep it and go into the end zone. 10 seconds left.
All right, 10 seconds left. Second down. I mean, we've seen him run so much, but I mean, why not mix it up here, do something different?
That would be the call, I would think.
Oh,
nope.
Looks like maybe perhaps a false start.
Here, I'll let y'all know if anything crazy happens for the last couple seconds. We'll go back.
Okay, all righty. So the Midland High Bulldogs trying to stay in this ball game as the Bobcats lead the Bulldogs 20-13 in Week 7 of Texas high school football play here, District 2-6A action. The Bobcats needing a win tonight, as we mentioned earlier in the program, because to fall in that 0-3 hole, Perry. I mean, nobody wants to be in that position, but you have to rely on a lot of different things if they do lose tonight.
Well, it appears that you have the strength of the district schedule still upcoming, so certainly that's something that if you're a Bobcat fan, you don't want to see. You need a win here tonight.
Most definitely, the Bobcats in desperation mode, primarily because it's their postseason chances are literally on the line tonight. If you don't win, you're looking to have to rely on teams losing while winning, and that's just the worst recipe. Because if you lose, I mean, if you win and somebody else loses, I mean, you're literally throwing your chances.
You take control of your destiny tonight.
Right. That's exactly right. So, meanwhile, Matt Trammell working on the highlight there from San Angelo Stadium. Trammell, what you got?
Only a few seconds left here at San Angelo Stadium. They're going to pass it. They're going to try to, at least. He's going to have to just scramble it out. He gets all the way down to about the 14-yard line, and he runs out of bounds.
So 14. So that would be looking at, what about a 31-yard field goal if they would attempt that?
Yep, 4 seconds left.
Okay, so I'm assuming that that's probably what they want to do there. I mean, Thad Fortune, he's wanting to keep his team in this ball game. First-year head coach of the Midland High Bulldogs when he was hired, said he was going to run, he was going to keep that mojo veer triple offense intact, doing that. So tonight, there is 31-yard field goal, and it's up.
It's good.
Good. And that's going to make it a 20-17 ball game as the Bobcats.
20-17. Hey, they're winning.
Hey,
That they are. They are still winning right now.
those young kids, some of those younger kids will go into that locker room and say, well, we got a chance. I mean, we just keep doing what we're doing and get a few more breaks here and there, we can win this football game. And that's going to be the mindset going into that locker room, and that's what the coaches are probably going to emphasize, as well as to make the necessary adjustments.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens here in the half. Or I'm sorry, we'll see. We'll see both teams kind of regroup the troops. The second half should be interesting because both teams have. I mean, there have been penalties here and there, but for the most part, it's been somewhat of a clean game. Perry.
And I believe that Central will get the third quarter kickoff. And certainly, if they can do something with that football on that third quarter to open that drive, that's going to send a message to that other sideline that we're not going anywhere.
Right? No,
You're going to have to beat us.
You're exactly right. So, this defense so far, the Bobcats have been able to hold their own. 2 touchdowns for the Midland QB1 Landry Walls. He's coming into this game with about 6 touchdowns, 6 rushing touchdowns. So that makes it about 8 total on the season. So this guy, I mean, he's a guy that can do some damage for this Midland High football team. Perry, do you like the Bobcats holding on, at least grasping to a lead heading into the break as they do so?
The coaching staff's going to emphasize take away the big play. The big play is the quarterback, and when they shut him down, they'll go to that running back. And if the Bobcats are able to at least hang on and wait for some help to make the tackles on this guy, because he is elusive and he is fast, if the Bobcats can do that, then yeah, they'll win this ball game.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. I think they're in prime position to at least do something here. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back here in just a few moments.
We know people in sales who tell their clients what they want to hear.
But at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Addresses Realtors, we're not driven by the end transaction. We want a lifelong relationship with our clients, which means sometimes we have to tell our clients what they need to hear. Our industry-leading team of real estate professionals is ready to help you find the home where you can enjoy life's biggest celebrations and smallest moments.
When you open the door to your first home or your forever home, we want to be there with you.
And while we may be a brand with international reach, we remain locally owned and committed to the San Angelo community.
Our company is built on the principles of trust, integrity, longevity, and stability.
At Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Addresses Realtors, we are honored to be your forever agents.
that led to a Tyler Hill touchdown, which was monster for them in that aspect. So this is it needs something that needed to happen. They needed a little bit of momentum that came their way. Perry, kind of give me your thoughts from the first half there.
Well, they held them to a field goal going into the locker room at the half, so that's got to give them some confidence. They've been up and down this field. What they need to do here in the third quarter, fourth quarter, they need to just take that football. They'll get it, I believe, to start the third quarter. They just need a long, sustained drive. Eat up a lot of that clock, wear down that defense, keep your defense off the field, let them get some rest, and then maybe they're able to maybe compete with running down this quarterback and maybe do containment that they need to, put a spy on him or something. But, they're going to have to – either they're going to have to just score every time they get the football, or they're going to have to at least stop that defense, that quarterback.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of that Central defense, here's kind of what we were talking about. So the Central woes have kind of just been this season, as you see in the graphic. Rushing defense, they've given up over 1,500 yards rushing this season. Monster have 251 yards per game. That one fumble recovered is now 2. Woo. First one since Colleen Shoemaker, week 1. And in fact, I mean, the Bobcats, forcing MHS to throw. I mean, we've seen a few things of that so far this game, but for the most part, I mean, Midland has just run the football. We've seen Zion Ward. We've seen Landry Walls being able to kind of just get in, assert themselves with that offensive line. It doesn't appear that the Bobcats are looking to stack the box, but they are getting pressure in the backfield.
Well, let me ask you a question. Is the Bobcats a second-half team?
That's
I mean, we're going to find out here in a bit.
I don't think we can truly answer that because we haven't seen them be truly a second-half team this season. Usually the games have been over at the break. These games have not been close by any stretch of the imagination for the last few weeks. So
but it is tonight.
It is tonight. So it is very much different for the Bobcats tonight. We're hoping that the luck changes because this right here, the defensive struggle, it's been real this season, to say the least. So.
Well, the coaching staff right now for San Angelo Central, they're trying to make the adjustments. They're trying to figure out how to contain this quarterback and that tailback and try to put some bodies on those particular individuals and make sure tackles and not let them run through an arm tackle. Yeah. I mean, that's poor tackling. That'll kill you.
That's for sure. All right. Trammell, what do we got?
Dude, so I got the man here.
The man, the myth, the legend.
The myth, the legend. Ryan Chadwick, dude, he just disappeared on me. There he is. He's back. Okay. All right. Can you hear us, Ryan? All right. So what do you think about the Bobcats so far? First off, this is probably the best defensive showing that we've seen from the Bobcats. So start with the defense. Let us know. Oh, give me.
Hold on. Keep on going, Chadwick. No?
Give me a second.
All right, we'll come back.
Hold up, Chadwick.
All right, we'll come back. It looks like we're kind of battling some technical difficulties with Ryan Chadwick there.
Are you muted?
He is not muted. Well, hold on. Let's. Yep, we got him.
We got him.
Yeah, I've heard y'all this whole time.
All right, perfect. So talk about the defense. Go.
Okay, so I'm excited tonight because the Bobcats are actually getting stops. They're forcing punts, and they force a turnover, right? They're still having some trouble with that triple option, but again, it's hard to defend. They need to do a little bit better containment on that quarterback because he's had, multiple big runs that are the only reason that Midland's on the board. But guys like Ty Casey are getting big hits. Like they're making a statement. Like they're getting stops. I don't know. I am much more excited about it than I was the last couple of weeks.
All right. Well, they're up in the half. They're up in the first half. It's not a lot of times this season you can say that. How do you think that they're going to be in the second half? Do you think they're going to turn to a second half team that can control the lead? How do you think they're going to approach it?
Well, I hope that Coach Crane has a talk with his receivers because the Bobcats wouldn't have been stopped on offense either if the receivers could hang on to the football. I look for the offense to keep the ball on the ground a little bit more in the second half. If they do stick to the air, receivers got to come down with the ball. There's 2 drop touchdowns there. One of them led to a touchdown anyway, but the second one definitely led to that missed field goal.
With that with that long touchdown that they fumbled, it looked like, or it wasn't a fumble, it was a drop. But do you think that was a fumble? Do you think he caught that? Us at the studio, we kind of thought that maybe they kind of gave that call to the Bobcats.
That was a catch and a fumble, like simple as that. Like he took 5 steps before he's in the end zone.
Yeah.
He caught it just like Des Bryant caught it.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I mean?
There you go. All right. Well, what else can you say? How's Tyler Hill playing? The running games, they're playing good. They don't have they're starting running backs out this week. Kind of allude on some of those offensive superstars and how they're playing.
Tyler Hill needs to be a little bit more accurate with the ball through the air, but he looks good on the ground. He is taking off and running a little too soon, but other than that, no complaints from me about Tyler Hill. We need to talk about Darius Floyd. He is a monster tonight. He has almost 100 yards on like 6 or 7 carries. Tyler Hill also has 100 yards rushing. Bobcats move the ball on the ground. So we're missing Navarrete tonight, but Floyd and Hill are picking up the slack on their own on the ground.
All right, last question here. Do you think you'll be a little happier than most weeks when we talk to you next time?
Here's the hoping, Matt. Like Bobcats got the lead right now. They get the ball first coming out of the break. If they can score a touchdown here and give themselves a 10-point advantage, then things are going to be looking good for the Bobcats.
All right, we'll see you at the break.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, Trammell, as we kind of your thoughts on this first half there?
Well, I think, the Bobcats been playing good. They're surprising me. We had picks earlier, and I'm not gonna lie, I did not pick the Bobcats to win this game. They've been looking bad, but this week they actually look good. Their defense is playing a little more physical than they have been in the past. They've gotten a turnover, so that means they've got the turnover magic in their hands. I think the Bobcats have a really good chance of pulling this thing out. But if they mess up early and they let Midland High come out and take the lead, I think may end a little differently.
Well, you all have had the opportunity to watch the Bobcats all year long. Is their offense built to be able to do just a pound and ground?
I think with Samuel Navarrete, this guy, he's kind of he gives them that opportunity to do that. Obviously Darius Floyd does so with that, but it's always nice to have that 1-2 punch. We'll have to see if there's another character that steps up, because we have Tyler Hill, Darius Floyd. I think we need a third character tonight to kind of step in there for the Bobcats to kind of solidify this if they truly want to walk away with the dub. Now, whether that's Jacob English or perhaps a Baylor Johnson, somebody along those lines. I think they need somebody else to step up. But perhaps right now, it's looking like it's going to be a Tyler Hill or Darius Floyd type show.
Well, the second half, they need to control the clock.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that they have necessarily the keys to have that grind out offense. Their small type stuff is either a small run and play, maybe a little power or something like that in the inside, or they're going to throw screen passes to the outside. From what we've seen from Abilene already, they're playing the screen passes very well. So that's why everything's opened up down the field, and that's why they're giving up these long bombs to Central. And maybe if their receivers start catching a little better, they might run up the score at the end of this thing.
Well, I'm impressed with both offensive lines, to be honest, because they've given the quarterbacks time. They've allowed the plays to develop. Now, if the Bobcats can figure out defensively some schemes, maybe on a run blitz or something to get some penetration into the backfield and interrupt the goings-on, then, the Bobcats have an opportunity there for a tackle for loss or maybe another turnover.
Yeah, we've definitely been talking about that all year when it comes to the Bobcats defense is that initial pressure in the front seven. How do you get that from this team? They're not extremely big. They are quick. So it's more about sending blitzes in at different angles, finding different lanes to send different people, being creative. Certainly, we did see them blitz a little bit there. Sometimes we saw them over blitz a little bit, and they got kind of scorched by that quarterback who can find those lanes. It'll be interesting to see what their defense does come out and do because, like we said, they've been playing good tonight, and we expect them to just keep it going.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of big ball games here in Week 7, let's check out a few that we're following tomorrow night. And this one, a huge game, Battle of Odessa. Odessa High versus Odessa Permian. Right now, I think right now, Odessa High 3-3 on the season, Odessa Permian 4-2. If you ask me, I think the momentum is completely on Odessa High's side, but let's take a look at Mojo against District 2-6A. This is what they're averaging, more or less. Total yards, 286.5 yards per game. Rushing yards, close to about 180. 40 carries, so we're seeing a lot of that offense run through the running attack. Passing yards, averaging about 107. 13 throws a game. Overall, points per game, not the greatest against the district, against the Little Southwest Conference. 19 last week. They put up only 17 against Friendship. Points allowed. This is interesting here. I mean, they're giving up close to 30 points a game, averaging. So it's Permian not exactly working with all the momentum this season. We'll take a look. In fact, we'll queue up what's going on with Odessa High, because I think if you see these numbers with Odessa High this season, you know, these guys are working with something, and it's pretty fun to watch. Because for one, Odessa High, they're never really given much credit to do anything, just because, I mean, they're the other team across the tracks. In fact, this is what we're talking about when it comes to Odessa High. So OHS versus District 2-6A, 411 total yards per game, so to speak. Rushing yards, about $185, averaging right around 31 carries. Passing yards, 226, 19 throws per game. Diego Cervantes, the QB1, this guy is playing a huge role. Passing yards, 15 of 24, 152 yards last week against San Angelo Central, 3 touchdowns. Rushing is where this guy was pretty clutch down the stretch. 16 carries, 81 yards, 1 touchdown. What's interesting about the Broncos this season, the Broncos, well, they picked up their first district win last week since 2018. Yes, their first district win in 3 years. And tomorrow night, they'll be looking for their first win against Permian since 2013. So a lot is obviously on the line for them, you know, just from the district perspective, but for some bragging rights, so to speak.
Yeah, I doubt you could shoehorn anybody. I imagine it's hard to get a ticket right now because that is a marquee matchup there, particularly the Permian Basin. They take their football real serious. And, the Ratliff will be rocking and rolling tomorrow night, and it's hard to pick. I mean, it looks like that it's a battle of contrast, more or less, particularly offensively, with Permian and with the Broncos liking to air it out and Permian liking to ground it out. So it's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah. You know, and I haven't seen Odessa. I mean, I've covered the Little Southwest Conference consistently for a little over 10 years now, and I haven't seen so much momentum riding on Odessa High's side as I have this season. And that's something, and that's saying something, because as kind of just said, you know, these guys are just kind of considered the other guys across the tracks of Odessa, never really given much of a chance to do anything. This is the true definition of Friday Night Lights, the TV show, East Dillon versus West Dillon, you know? I mean, it doesn't get much quackier than that when you start thinking about it, because everything is always on the side of Odessa Permian. I would not be surprised if Odessa High walked out with the win tomorrow night. And like you touched on, Perry, this is one of the hottest tickets to get in Odessa at the beginning of the week. There was just line. It was just a line of people waiting early in the mornings as the sun was coming up just to get their ticket there at Ratliff Stadium. I mean, that's what you love to see about Texas high school football.
Well, Larry Gatlin would really be happy if Odessa has to pull that out. I watched him. I used to broadcast San Angelo Central, and we had the opportunity at Ratliff one evening when Odessa High and Central were playing long ago. He sang the national anthem, and I didn't realize that he was a graduate.
Wow.
Just little tidbit there.
A little tidbit, yeah. Bringing in the Nuggets tonight. Thursday night. Yeah, absolutely. So that's a big one that we're kind of watching tomorrow night. Hey, and if you're just a nerd of Texas high school football, like yours truly, and pretty much, what kind of go like pretty much all three of us here tonight, you're gonna love this guy of the Little Southwest Conference. His name is McKylan Young, star running back for Midland Legacy, and this dude is, the real deal Holyfield. Can McKylan Young be stopped? He is a true rebel with a cause this season. Yeah, check that out. Season stats: 155 carries, 1,013 yards, 18 touchdowns.
Already?
Yeah, averaging about 202 yards per game. Last week against Abilene High, 27 carries, 240 yards, 5 touchdowns against the Warbirds. Offers from Houston Baptist, University of Texas Permian Basin, and historically Black College, HBC, Jackson State, where Deion Sanders Primetime is the head coach.
Oh, Prime's trying to get him?
Yeah, Prime.
That's where I'm
Prime's
going.
has his eye on him for sure. So McKylan Young, this guy, he's doing some good things. In fact, we're looking at some single season rushing stats in the state of Texas. If he continues this trend, this guy can make that list. Single season rushing yards for the entire season of Texas high school football. Kenneth Hall is still the leader, 4,095 yards from Sugar Land. The Sugar Land Express, 1953. That was done with 12 games.
Wow.
Then you start going down the list of Trey Williams, Jonathan Gray, Joseph Sadler of 2011. I love that year. That year I was in San Antonio covering high school football for WOAI, and we saw some great football. Joseph Sadler out of Divine, the War Horses. That kid, nobody can stop him. And then he did so many cool things. Trey Williams out of Spring Decaney, they ended up beating Cibolo Steel in the state championship Class 6A Division I. Alito, it was Jonathan Gray. It was bam, bam, bam. That's what we saw with some big running backs in 2011. And this guy, McKylan Young, has the potential to at least break into that list. Last time we saw, a Midland Legacy Rebel really do that, 1999, Cedric Benson, 14 games, 3,526 yards. Right now, McKylan Young sitting at about, that's 1,013 yards. So this guy, McKylan Young, he is fun to watch. He single-handedly just destroyed that Abilene High defensive line, that defensive second, just the defensive front last week. He's somebody to watch.
What is his size?
He's about 6 foot, give or take, about 5'10", 181 pounds.
I'm surprised he's not had an offer from Alabama.
I know. He's a good-sized kid. Clint Hartman, head coach of Midland Legacy, I remember having a chat with him at the beginning of last season. He's like, he's going to be a Division I guy. It's just a matter of where he ends up. And I think he's right.
Where would that game against San Angelo Central, where would it be?
That would be here in San Angelo.
Opportunity to watch him.
Yeah,
definitely. He had 5 touchdowns against Abilene High, and Abilene High's defense did not look that bad. It's going to be very interesting when he plays Central. Central's defense right now does not bode well against the run.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see if he can maybe break the record.
He has a ton of potential to destroy some record books, at least in the Little Southwest Conference. But I would think, heck, the sky's the limit with this guy. Forget the Little Southwest Conference. Let's go to the Texas high school football record book, and let's just insert McKylan Young in this whole conversation with it, because there's a lot of upside for him. I think we'll be seeing him playing on Saturdays at some point here in the next few seasons. Somebody's bound to pick him up. They'd be crazy not to. Ends up at Jackson State. Deion Sanders, that guy knows college football. He knows high school football. He was a coach
he knows how
the
to
last
get you
few
to
years.
the league too.
So yeah, he's been there, done that. Trammell.
Yeah. That's one of the things. I mean, college is fun and all, but you can find your way. You can find someone to position you to get you to the league. Like, your coach is Deion Sanders. Come on.
A lot of great athletes up in Midland, Odessa. I mean, he's just one of them.
Yeah.
They'll have another one next year.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like, who's that cat they had? Who's this guy right here behind you over here?
Well, that was Loic Fungi. In fact, he is a current member of the Texas Tech Red Raiders on the wide receiving core. He had a touchdown against Texas a few weeks ago, and I believe he saw some action last week against West Virginia. He's slowly being inserted into that offense. It's good to see some West Texas kids. I know we're seeing Henry Teeter, former San Angelo Central Bobcat wide receiver, also a member of that Texas Tech offense. He's doing some big things. Shout out to him. We saw him 2016, 2017 just tear up the Little Southwest Conference. So we're seeing West Texas kids make their impacts at the collegiate level. One more thing on McKylan Young. Single-season rushing touchdowns in the state of Texas. That record owned by Jonathan Gray of Aledo in 2011, 65 touchdowns. Then you start going down the list, Jonathan Gray in 2010, Joseph Sadler in 2011 with 58 touchdowns. Then at number 4, Kenneth Hall, Sugarland Express, 57 touchdowns, 1953. So right now, McKylan Young sitting at 18 touchdowns. I mean, if you start doing the math on all those type of things, I mean, it's crazy to imagine that he could be in that list, but not out of the realm of possibility. He's a guy that certainly has the potential to do so. I wouldn't be surprised if Midland Legacy is able to make a deep run into the Texas high school football playoffs. We'll see him climb that list.
Well,
not a bad thing.
That tells me they have one heck of an offensive line for him to be able to open up those holes for him.
That whole team is full of just all-stars, man.
They're sledders, the O-line full of sledders.
Definitely. They can move it around in there. And those numbers may sound crazy now, Manny, but just wait till they play 15 games. I mean, if they can go far, those numbers aren't as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of one other guy that we're kind of watching tomorrow night, and if you're a nerd of it, hey, here you go. This is the kid, the QB1, the senior QB1, Corbin Covarrubias of El Dorado High School. Flying high in Schleicher County. Here he is, season stats. 53 of 98 for 1,056 yards. This is just through 4 games, I believe.
Yeah,
15 touchdowns,
4 games
2
through
interceptions.
15 touchdowns,
Yeah.
only 2 interceptions. This kid from El Dorado is lighting it up. He's living in a small town, but he's throwing it like a big city kid.
Insane to watch. 54% completion rate. Now, if passing was one thing, rushing is another. 50 carries, 419 yards. He's also the team's leading rusher. 10 touchdowns on that side of the rock. 2 100-plus yard games.
25 touchdowns through 4 games.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
That's crazy.
Stay healthy.
Yeah. In week 3, he was a Built Ford Tough Player of the Week versus Coahoma. 16 of 26 passing, 379 yards, 6 touchdowns. I mean, this kid just unbelievable. Perry, he can. I mean, when you hear of Uncle Rico saying he can throw it a quarter mile, down the road, this guy can literally do that. Trammell and I have seen him just go off in games where he literally just
he was on
back.
the 40-yard, not his 40-yard line, their 40-yard line, the other side of the 50. And he's sitting there in the pocket and just on a rope. I mean, the kid hits the kid in stride. I have never seen that from a kid at a 2A level. I mean, that kid can flat out ball, I'm telling you.
So, I mean, I think, and he's kind of one of those guys on that list as well. In fact, show notes here. Nick Gerber from Matt Trammell's hometown, Levelland, Texas, 5,617 yards. Owns the Texas high school football single-season passing record through 14 games in 2016. He is the guy. Obviously, I mean, El Dorado, they missed a game due to COVID back in week 2 or week 3. They were supposed to play winners. So that could have been just one, just a fireworks show for Covarrubias.
Yeah, because the Winners Blizzards, they're not a bad team, but as we've seen this year, their defense is not as all as it's cracked up to be either. So he could have dang near scored 4 or 5 touchdowns in that one too, and then we could be talking about 30 touchdowns through 5 games.
Yeah, I mean,
35 touchdowns.
It's
through
pretty
5
crazy. Another big record that we're kind of on the watch list with Covarrubias. I know he's flirting with it. Is the single season passing touchdown record in the state of Texas, currently owned by Nick Gerber. 77 touchdowns in one season. The Levelland Lobo back in 2016. This guy was fun to watch. He was committed to Texas Tech coming out of high school. He's now at West Texas A&M.
Yep.
Trammell?
He's at WT. Yeah, starting quarterback.
Yep. So
I believe I called a game with him.
Probably so. It was at San Angelo Stadium. They probably got their butts whooped by the Abilene Wiley Bulldogs by like a million.
that was, in fact, that year in 2016, that their season did end against Abilene Wiley. I remember seeing that was the year that Abilene Wiley marched all the way to the state championship game to lose to Carthage that year.
Just a little heads up. Loveland made the playoffs 3 years straight. In that time period of him being there, we lost to Abilene Wiley in the second round, the third round, and the fourth round. all times by more than 50. So.
Yeah,
Wasn't a fun time to be young and a Lobo at that point.
I did a playoff game in Levelland last year or the year before, and I'm just wondering, how do you live with all that dust?
Yeah, that's something.
Down in the dirt. Oh, the Wall Hawks, they played there against, who was it? I think the Shallwater Mustangs.
It may have been. I think we won that game, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, too.
All
Yeah,
right.
and then they went on to play Pilot Point, I think.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break before as we get ready for the second half of play. See you in just a few moments.
I was trying to.
All right, welcome back to the broadcast here. Coverage tonight presented by Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. I'm Manny Diaz. Here, this is Cover One Live here on www.sanangelolive.com alongside Matt Trammell, Perry Curnutt. Perry Curnutt, has the night off tonight. Not really. He is the play-by-play man for the Wall Hawks. You can always catch him on the radio. In fact, it's always a treat for us to just sit and chat with him because his knowledge. I mean, he's a high school football nerd just like us. And loves watching the game, and certainly he's always kind of watching a really good football team in the Wall Hawks.
I wished I was as young as you two. Start all over again.
Well, it's you certainly we were talking about this as the half was about to start, and it's like, what stadium have you not called a football game in, Perry?
Out here, probably. I can't. East Texas. I haven't done much in East Texas, but I've been from El Paso to Stephenville and maybe a little beyond.
Oh wow! So
and-
you've kind of been around the block, to say the least.
Well, yeah, but I've got a few years on you guys yet. So
I can't say anything. They'd be like, "Where have you been?" I'm like, "This little desk in this little office."
yeah, the travel. I've seen a few. We've been a few miles. I mean, I've been in Amarillo, and one Friday night, and then the next Friday night or Thursday night, it may have been, I was in El Paso. So
Wow.
And the weather in Amarillo is not conducive to calling a football game a lot of
I can
times.
imagine,
I was in a whiteout. Never been in one of those, but then we had to drive home.
All right. Yeah, I can imagine. All right, Perry Curnutt. He is the play-by-play man for the Wall Hawks. Perry, where can we catch your live broadcast?
On 98.7.
98.7.
Yeah, KISS FM. It's 98.7, biggest stick in this part of the country. I think that antenna is 1250. So it's a good signal, and we're glad to be on it.
Well, we're glad to have at least you. We're glad to at least share the stage with you tonight because you've been covering high school football for such a long time. You've been a part of West Texas football, so it's always fun to pick your brain when it comes to this type of things.
It's hard to tell that I'm from West Texas with my voice.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of West Texas, good West Texas football, Trammell, as we're getting ready to start the second half of play. Anything good, so to speak, so far?
We can go ahead and, since it's the kickoff of the second half, why don't we just watch the kickoff of the second half?
Well, let's do it.
Wonder what the
Presented by
numbers.
Berkshire Hathaway. Here we go.
Wonder what the numbers are at San Angelo Stadium, San Angelo Stadium tonight. I wonder if it's full.
Yeah, that would be a really good question.
We could probably find out. We got plenty of boots on the ground, so just another one of those little pooch kicks. Grab it. Those are kind of scary, Manny.
Yeah.
You let one get away from you, and the other team gets the football.
We see Midland High kind of just. I mean, they're daring the Bobcats to do something on that. It's.
If that kick's not high enough, the potential is there for them to run it back. So
Exactly, Perry. So the Bobcats have decent field position. They're at about their own 43-yard line. So they have the ball to start the second half. So these guys are. I mean, it's there for the taking if they want it. So,
this drive is important.
Yeah. When you've seen teams like this kind of just eking along the way, Perry, over the years, how clutch has this second half been for teams like this?
Well, this is going to send a message. It's going to send a message to Midland High and also to the Bobcats that they're in this ball game and they can win it. If they take this football, drive it down their throat, take some time off that clock, that's going to send an incredible message to the Midland High sideline, and they're going to have some doubts.
Yeah. All right. Hey, speaking, if you had any doubts about the Bobcats, let's go out to San Angelo Stadium. Trammell, break this down. Give us some knowledge here.
All right. So they just got the ball off that little kickoff pooch, and this is going to be the first play. It's just a little screen pass. We talked about it at the half. This is what they do to try to break you down, and going to get it all the way to the 40-yard line. So they're moving the ball.
That's one of those plays where he looks and sees how many players are in that box, and then he knows that he can go to the outside with the football.
Yeah, that is exactly right. So
take it out. Look one more time at it.
Yeah, hold on. Let's go back to that. I'm sorry, Trammell.
You're good. So, yeah, makes a couple misses, gets all the way down to about the 41-yard line.
Yeah. All right. Good sequence there for the Bobcats is they're moving the ball here. Not too bad. You got to love it if for Bobcat fans, you need this tonight at least to stay in the postseason conversation. You know, obviously Central's going to have to win a lot of consecutive games down the stretch, but it starts tonight. The first one always most useful to get things going here. Perry, this is as a Bobcats. I mean, you've seen a lot of ups and downs with this team over the years. How much does this fan base stick with these guys?
They're rabid. I mean, of course, I was fortunate enough to have a lot of winning teams that I got to broadcast those football games, and the base for the Bobcats, they're as strong a fan base as anywhere. And, I mean, they get behind this team, and certainly you get in San Angelo Stadium, you get the crowd behind them. That's going to do well for them tonight.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree with you more. This gets them relevant. It gets them back in the conversation, gets them back in the good graces of the Bobcat fan base because they're needing this tonight, and certainly to keep their name in the playoff conversation. Trammell, what do we got here?
All right, so same drive here. It's third down for the Bobcats. Will they be able to get it? We talked about the passing game, how they're going to have to do it. Tyler Hill, of course, checks everything out, audibles out, gets a look from his coach over there, Kevin Crane. Calls it out to his guys. He's got double sets. He's got them on both sides, his running backs to the left. We'll see what happens. He takes the snap. Got a guy just sitting there, right in an open spot, and going to be first down for the Bobcats.
That was a good throw. That was a patient throw. He looked, I guess he checked down on several. Then he came back across the middle, and it's going to be soft.
So no, look at it right here. It's just going to be at the bottom. He goes and just finds the empty space. It's exactly what they like to do in those little West Coast offenses, just find that empty space in the zone and crush them with it. First down, Bobcats.
Yep, that will work. All right, so Matt Trammell watching that one there. Does that make you feel a bit better, Trammell?
Yeah, it really does. The Bobcats are moving the ball, and like Perry said, if they're controlling the clock, if they can do that, yeah, they get the ball at the 40-yard line to start, but they're just slowly just ticking away.
Got to chip away at them tonight.
At this point, Manny, the clock, I mean, a third down's not that bad of a deal because, number one, it's going to take some time off that clock, and you're in four-down territory anyway. If you just keep it where it's manageable, then you can take some time off this clock.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you know, getting in those third down situations like that where, you know, perhaps you get a third down conversion and you just eat at that defense's will. There's nothing more demoralizing when you're in when the defense is getting ready to get off the field and the offense comes up with that third down conversion. These things are huge tonight for the Bobcats.
And you touched on it. If the Bobcats are able to go take this third opening kickoff for the second half, if they're able to take it on a sustained drive down the field, that's exerting their will. And that's going to send a message to that sideline, and it's going to send a message to the Bobcat sideline that, hey, we can take over this ball game and we can win it.
Yeah, no, that is for sure. The Bobcats making some waves, making some noise tonight against this Midland High team, 20-17 as we start the third quarter. Matt Trammell bringing us another highlight. Trammell, what you got?
All right, so next set of chains here. Midland High gets another third down. So let's see if they can get the stop here. And this time it's just going to be Tyler Hill keeping it all the way, booting out to the left. Make one miss, make two miss. Finally gets tackled, goes out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. And we got a flag for probably what I'm guessing is an unnecessary roughness.
Half the distance.
That will work. Yes, exactly, Perry Curnutt. That is going to be putting him at about half the distance to the goal line there. So it's an interesting thing with what's happening with these Bobcats. It's like they're getting that second half surge, something we haven't seen all season long.
Receiver down here made a great block.
Yeah, we're about to get to that. In fact, I believe Trammell's working on the next set of highlights with that, at least for us to take a look at. In the meantime, Perry, to see kind of like that steady movement of the offense, does that make you feel good that the Bobcats have a chance to do something tonight?
Well, number one, it says they're in the ball game. If they can move the ball against the defense, well, then it's might come down to who has the football last. Mm-hmm. So the Bobcats certainly impressive offensively, particularly taking that third quarter kickoff, moving it down the field, eating some time off the clock. That's what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you couldn't have said it better yourself there. And you know, they're giving themselves a chance, which is huge. Meanwhile, another highlight here from San Angelo Stadium. Trammell, take us away.
All right, so we're knocking on the door. Got half a distance to the goal after that penalty. Give it to Darius Floyd. He's going to rumble all the way down there. Not going to get in the end zone all the way yet, but is going to get it to the 1-yard line.
Keep the clock moving.
Yes. Just tick, 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 tick.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Bobcats haven't had a turnover tonight.
They have not had one. I'm going to knock on some wood here, and I'll knock on it for you, Perry, because they don't need a turnover. Meantime, Darius Floyd.
Touchdown,
Floyd.
Bobcats. Look, they hurried up to the line right there, got him offset where the Midland High Bulldogs couldn't get on their toes, and that's going to be another touchdown for the Bobcats.
Now, do you go for
get the extra point? It's going to move it to
27?
27.
So they bring in the kicker. No, they're going to go from scrimmage.
Oh, they are going. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So let's.
No, they're not. That's what they do. They like to just keep them honest.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They were keeping us honest, certainly there. All right, so kick is up.
Kick is up, and it is good. It's going to make it 27-17. Bobcats up by 10. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like it. Trammell. I like what
17. Excuse me.
I like what they're doing there. I mean, they chipped away at that clock, which is huge for them because anytime you can keep that Midland High offense off the field is huge. Now it's up to the defense, and this is something where that we really haven't seen the Bobcats in a whole lot of. This is the scenario we haven't seen the Bobcats in a lot of the season, where there's a time to pounce and a time to kind of get some increase that momentum there.
It'll be interesting to see how Midland High responds to that Bobcat drive down the field for points. It's going to be interesting if the Bobcats can get a stop, a 3-and-out here, or a stop. That's going to put a whole different shine on this ball game for a Bobcat faithful.
It definitely will. In Trammell, we're seeing, we're seeing a lot of this defense tonight, and this defense is huge because the Bobcats have just been. That's been their Achilles heel this entire season. Tonight, they're making some waves, making some things happen on the defensive side of the ball. And here, perhaps, maybe with that special teams tonight. Let's take a look at this play here.
So most of the time, the Bobcats have just been doing the same thing as Midland High's been doing, little pooch kicks. This time, they're going to actually send it deep. They're up by 10, so you might as well play this thing safe. They're going to kick it all the way down there, but they're going to meet him about the 10-yard line. And that's not an arm tackle. That's a follow-through. Big hit there by the Central Bobcats. And that's going to be first down and 10 for the Midland Bulldogs, but it's only at the 11-yard line.
Yeah, that'll work.
But it's a game of field position. If they can hold them down here, they can get the football back. They'll have some good field position, a short field to work, and their offense is hitting on all cylinders. Consequently, they get it back into the end zone rather quick. Well, I think Bobcats will go ahead and win this one.
Yeah, there is a time to kind of for a change, there's a time that they can actually put this thing away, take advantage of a few things, and we can talk about a Bobcat W. We haven't done a whole lot of that this season, and hopefully we're not speaking too soon. I'm just going to continue to knock on the desk here because the Bobcats, they need a win tonight. This defense certainly needs a win in that aspect of things. So we'll kind of see how this thing plays out. We saw the special teams coming up with a huge stop. Already the Bobcats forcing a fumble tonight. Just the second fumble that they've been able to force this entire season. First one since week 1 against Colleen Shoemaker. So if that doesn't tell you anything about the struggle that's been going on with this Bobcats defense, I don't know what does. But nonetheless,
this is a big defensive series for the Bobcats.
Well, they're going to get the test here early. It's 3rd down and 2. Midland High has the ball. Let's see if they can pull it off. Just hand it off right there. They do get the 2, so the drive's going to continue. Give you all a little update here in a second.
Man, that's just that looks exactly like something the Wall Hawks would do on a Friday night.
Well, the guy has a quick first step. I mean, he hits that line of scrimmage in a hurry, and picking up that 2's no problem.
Boom, there it is. Light him up. Put it in his chest. 1st and 10, Midland High Bulldogs.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about, the game of, the clock management. That's something that, looks like Midland High, they're trying to sing that same tune. Of course, they're kind of on the other end of the scoreboard where they need to score. Perry, do you think if the Bobcats, or if Midland High gets down another score, do you think they could be perhaps opening up that passing game tonight?
Yeah, they're going to have to go to the air at some point. Right now, they're methodically running their offense. They try to reverse right there, and fortunately for the Cats, somebody stayed at home and they got him tackled. But, yeah, they'll go to the air, and that's what you want to do. That's what you want them to do.
Yeah, in fact, that was one of our keys to the game tonight, was forcing Midland High to throw the football because they're so good at running that triple offense, that mojo offense 2.0. It's a matter of stacking the box for the Bobcats and getting some pressure in the backfield. Tonight they've got to do that, and it looks like they're kind of doing somewhat of a decent job, at least for the better part, at least for what they're able to do tonight. Meanwhile, Trammell, what do we got here?
All right, so the same drive here, next set of chains. Bobcats force another 3rd down. Let's see if they try anything interesting. So it looks just normal here, but nope, it's going to be reverse. Don't worry, Bobcats, stay at home. And look at this. Oh! go lay you a hit. That's a big hit by the Bobcats, and it's going to bring up 4th down for the Bulldogs.
You know who that is, Trammell?
Who's that?
That's a Ty Casey sighting
That's
right there.
right. That's the best player right there. Probably
Let's run
arguably
it
the best
back.
player for the Bobcats comes up and makes the play.
Let's run that back. Ty Casey. It's a shame we haven't been able to call his name too much this season. But man, oh man, what a hit.
Look at the discipline, though. At least, a lot of teams, they'll bite on it. They stayed at home. He ran all the way across the field. Boom. Never let up. Guys, I want to show y'all exactly where he started. Okay, this is him up here. He's at the very top. Just keep your eyes up here at the top. So, fakes the handoff. There it is. That's the reverse. If you see him, he's way up here. He instantly sees that. He's running right downhill. Whole way right downhill, nonstop. Boom.
Oh, my
Make
goodness.
the play.
Midland High is setting up the option for that side. So they'll bring it around thinking they're going to run the reverse again, and they'll run that option.
Yeah. Wow. Perry, how about that hit? That's
a slobber knocker.
Yeah, that is. We like to see those around here.
I get excited when I say them, but tonight I'm not.
Yeah, that's Ty Casey, the Bobcat linebacker, who's done some really good things. He can line up at linebacker. He can line up at deep in the secondary at safety. They're able to he's kind of the Swiss Army knife on defense, and he's making his presence felt on that defensive side of the ball, which is a good thing, something the Bobcats need tonight and moving forward the rest of the season. Of course, big shout out to our sponsor tonight, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, for bringing coverage of the Bobcats all season long, especially tonight here in Week 7. The Bobcats right now, they are sitting on top, 27-13, leading the Midland High Bulldogs there at San Angelo Stadium. In the meantime, let's go back there because Matt Trammell has some goods to provide us.
Oh, unfortunately, these won't be some goods if you're a Central Bobcat fan. It looked good at first, a ton of yards, but boom, dropped the football, and Midland is on top of it. They got the football back on the very first play after the punt, right back where they started, maybe even a little better. Midland High Bulldogs football at about the 46-yard line.
I started not to say anything about turnovers.
Yeah, we did. I know.
That was tough. That's tough. So tough.
Oh, man. Berkshire
And that
Hathaway
was-
Home Services bringing us the highlights tonight. Perry, we were just talking about
And
that.
that was a great defensive stand by the Bobcats, and for them to just give it right back. Wow, that shifted the momentum there.
Yeah, if the air didn't get let out of their cells, yeah, that certainly did.
I don't know. Did somebody come around and strip him of that ball?
And looked almost
Minimal contact.
I can actually go back on it.
It did look like perhaps there may have been some contact in that play.
Yeah, it looks like.
We want to go back to that one, Trammell?
Yeah. Here, we can go back to it. It looks like the guy who was running, it may have been a linebacker. It may have been safety that came. Yeah, it's this number 4 here is that safety. He punches it out right there.
Oh, yeah, he does.
On the tackle.
Yeah, and they're trained to do that. They coach it, so
Yeah.
you've got to protect that football.
He could probably take a page out of Darius Floyd's book, because Darius Floyd, anytime he's about to get in some traffic, I mean, he is just hugging that football like a prom date.
Maybe why he's didn't start or hasn't started or had more action.
Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, that's something, protection of the rock. That's something we have to see tonight.
It looks like we got a Bobcat that's injured. It looks like Sutton Grantham.
Oh, okay.
So senior full safety. It looks like he's walking out on his own, though. But it's 3rd down now for the Bulldogs. Let's see if the Bobcats can make something happen, guys.
Okay. All right. So it's 27-17. I think I said 27-13 earlier. So it's 27-17. It's about under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter of play. So it's getting the Bobcats. I mean, the momentum was in their favor. Now it's kind of shifted back. We'll see if this defense can bend but not break. At least kind of holding the line there for this game here tonight. Trammell, do we have anything developing?
Yeah, so it's third down, like I said. Let's see if they can get the stop that they need. Remember the Bobcats? Man, just gave the ball back. Let's see if the defense can hold up. It looks like they are going to. They needed 4. They only got about 1. So that's going to be up fourth down. Guys, fourth down for the Bulldogs. Are they going to go for it, or are they going to punt this ball away?
4 down territory.
All right, so fourth down territory. You heard it. They're not even looking for the special teams. They're going for it all the way. Coaches up at the top kind of talking about it. They're going to send in QB1. Landry Walls has been running all over the place, so let's see if he's got it in him again. Central Bobcat defense already lined up, ready to go. They're lined up in their exact same formation they've been all night. Let's see if it's a pass or if it's the option.
Oh.
They need 3. It's a pass.
Looks like that is
got some movement up there.
False starts called on the Bulldogs there.
Let's see. They're looking at it. I don't want to jump the gun like last time. This one is a false start, so that means it's going to be 4th and 9.
So what do you think, Perry? You think this is still in distance for them to go for it, or
yeah.
bring out the special teams unit?
No, they're going to go for it. They're going to throw it. Watch.
Remember we saw the reverse earlier. You said they might go something off the reverse.
They
do
could.
something like
Short
that?
side of the field over there.
Well,
No.
looks like they're going to go ahead and send in the special teams unit after all.
Watch for the fake.
Could be a fake, though.
All right, so mind you, we do have to remind you this is delayed action from San Angelo Stadium. Midland High punting the ball here. Not a bad punt.
There you go. Good look for the defense, guys. What do you think? Give me y'all's opinion on the drive.
The defense, the last 2 series, they've done well. The only thing you can say bad in the second half is Central let loose of the football and gave Midland High a short field, and the Bobcats were able to turn them back.
Yeah, about $1:14 left in the third quarter following that stalled drive on behalf of the Midland High Bulldogs. Man,
That's going to be actually the end of the third quarter.
So we are now into the third quarter, as Matt Trammell said. So, 27-17 Bobcats?
27-17 Bobcats.
We enjoy saying the Bobcats are leading a football game. We have not had a lot of opportunity to say that, but good stuff for them, for the Bobcats tonight. So as we head into the
more
fourth
good
quarter,
stuff.
Yeah, yeah. We can see this. We can see this, and we don't want to hit the spoiler alert. But it looks like Perry. Yeah, Perry's getting anxious over here. In fact, let's show you what Perry's talking about.
All right,
here.
so very first play coming out for the start of the fourth quarter. It's third down, so huge play for the Bobcats. You don't want to give it back to them after just getting it, so what do? You keep it in your best player's hands. Tyler Hill going to go out to the left. They've ran this play many times tonight. Going to break another one free, and what is it, Manny? He gone.
G to the O-N-E, gone.
Tyler Hill.
No
Touchdown, 34.
No flags either.
How about that?
That's a 85-yard run right
Let's
there.
call about it 85 yards. Trammell, let's run that back. You know, we see so much of what Tyler Hill's doing, but let's see how that offensive line just kind of just set the...
Watch the block out on the outside by the tailback.
Yeah, this Darius Floyd guy, he ain't scared of that contact. He's going to go put it
It's
right in him.
It's what springs it.
There it is.
Put it wide open. You got linemen laying on the ground. You're doing something right.
That was pretty.
Yeah, let's take a look at that block one more time from Darius Floyd, because if that wasn't there, Tyler Hill is not going the distance. Boom on the linebacker right there. See ya.
Well, then you got the cut block up here by the tackle. Look at big old 75 up here. He's going to take out them legs, and if you're laying on the ground, you're not going to be able to do much. So watch 75 right up here to the top. He finds man, put a hand on one, boom, get another one down. He blocked 2 people basically in the same play.
Yeah, he got his body around, and that took out 2 would-be tacklers.
Yep, and that's going to be about an 85-yard touchdown, guys.
Yeah, that'll work. So it is now 34-17 Bobcats.
That's what we like to see for the Bobcats.
They're
Prove Matt
certainly
Trammell wrong.
moving some weight around. They haven't done a whole lot of that this season, and it's nice to see. It would have been nice to see them do that last week and the week before, because man, oh man, did they put themselves in quite the predicament. Tonight, a must-win type of game, as they are 0-2 coming into this showdown against Midland High, needing to win this one because, well, the next 3 games, Midland Legacy, Odessa Permian, Abilene High, it doesn't get much easier. At least they have a bye week next week, so the Bobcats, man, they were playing with fire heading into this game. Looks like they're kind of pulling away in this one so far, Perry.
Well, it certainly is. I mean, the defense has stepped up here in the second half. They've limited the big plays, and now you can expect probably to see Midland High go to the air more because they're going to start maybe get a little panic set in.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's going to work to the Bobcats' advantage.
Do you think, I mean, playing armchair quarterback a little bit, do you think it's time to hit the panic button if you're the Midland High OC?
Not yet. We'll see after this drive coming out after the Bobcats hit them with that big play. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that's big right there because, I mean, of course, that was one of our big keys that we talked about tonight, that the Bobcats truly needed an effort to kind of win this game tonight because this is the Bobcats. Their defense hasn't been as great as it, I guess, as we've kind of maybe anticipated it this season. But here, this is kind of what we were talking about, folks. The defensive struggles and the keys to this one here, force Midland High to throw, which is exactly what Perry Curnutt is saying. He's seen a few football games in his lifetime. The Bobcats, this defense is kind of getting after that front line, that O-line, and getting in a little bit of pressure in that backfield, certainly on Landry Walls. Now forced 2 fumbles this season, the second one coming tonight, first one since week 1 against Colleen Shoemaker. So meanwhile, Matt Trammell, do we have anything good to talk about as we kind of head into the stretch of this football game?
Yeah, so Midland High, they got the ball, and it's 3rd down for the Bobcats, the very first set of chains, and they're already forcing 3rd downs. But let's see if they can get it. A little spoiler there. They cannot. The quarterback is just going to take it. They've been doing it all night long. It seems that both quarterbacks only know that same play and how to get a first down, but whatever works, right, guys?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it for the Midland High Bulldogs. I mean, they are a veer triple option offense, run heavy offense first. You know, I don't think, as Perry said earlier, they're not ready to quite hit that panic button quite yet.
But they're taking time off the clock, and that's not to their advantage.
Yeah, that doesn't bode well for what they do.
Yeah, that's the one thing with the triple option, and that's one thing that, even when you get with Wall, when you get down big, it's going to be tough to grind back in there because you're taking so much clock out because that's your game plan basically with that running a heavy offense.
Yeah, unless that defense is porous, and right now the Bobcats are stepping up defensively.
Very, very true. Very true.
Yeah, so we have got to see this Bobcats defense step up because, well, I mean, they haven't done a whole lot of that in the last few weeks. Perhaps the turnover, perhaps they need to stall out this Midland High offense. I mean, they need that right now. They need it quick, fast, and in a hurry or at least to give the offense an opportunity to put this one away. You do not want to keep Midland High hanging around in this ball game. No. For one, they were able to put away Odessa High 49-28, and they got up some quick scores against them, against Odessa High in that game just a few weeks ago there at Grande Communication Stadium, en route to a big win for them. So, these guys, they can put points on the board. They're not. That's now we're talking fourth quarter, so I mean it kind of makes things a little bit more difficult for them. But Perry, they can still do some work. Yeah,
they're 17 down, and what the Bobcats need to do is just don't give up that big play. Mm-hmm. I mean, play your position, be disciplined, don't give up the big play, and make a sure tackle.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 34-17 Bobcats leading Midland High here in the fourth quarter. Let's go back to San Angelo Stadium, courtesy of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services.
All right, next set of chains, another 3rd down for the Midland Bulldogs. It's been a trend. That's all they've been doing is getting those back to those 3rd downs. They tried the quarterback run again, but this time the Bobcats stop him right in his tracks.
And Trammell, pause right there. Look at 15. That's Darius Floyd doing work offensively tonight.
And defensively.
Yes, we talked about that. We were curious to know if he was going to play both ways. He's truly playing some Iron Man football tonight.
Yeah,
and getting in on the tackle right there.
He's tougher than a $2 parking lot steak. Man, he's going both ways. Going both ways in 6A football. That's something.
Big time. Yep.
Yes, it is. My goodness.
And especially he's right there making the tackle.
So okay. So let's kind of let this thing play out. So that was third down.
So now it's fourth down here. It's about 4th and 6th. They're going to call a timeout, so we'll be back here in a second.
All right, so there we are. We're seeing the Bobcats defense kind of generate some momentum on their own. 34-17, Bobcats leading the way as they're clinging on to something, which they haven't been able to do so in the last few weeks, heck, this entire season for that matter. Tonight, they're making some noise, and you got to love that, Perry.
Yeah, Midland had to call a timeout. Certainly their attention is to the clock now because down 17 – but they have a big play offense. I mean, don't count them out. But the Bobcats' defense has kind of answered the call.
Yeah. They took what they learned against Tascosa, I think, and they put it to use here. That Odessa team and that Friendship team is a different type of offense than these guys. I think they kind of know how to play this little triple option just a little bit better than they do the team that's going to, they think is going to throw it deep, and then their quarterback runs all over you. I think, that's the reason why the Bobcats kind of got beat earlier. But the way they're playing against this triple option, they look like they know how to at least stop it.
Speaking of momentum, speaking of things kind of shifting in the way of the Bobcats, Trammell, do you have anything good to tell us?
Let's whip it up. Here it is. Another. This is right after the third down. This is fourth down, right after the timeout. What do you think? We throwing or passing?
Passing.
All right, here it is. Let's see. Quarterback takes it all the way. He looks, he throws, and that's going to be an interception for the Bobcats. He's running down the sidelines. He might have it. A little block right there, and that's going to be a touchdown. Bobcats score.
Wow. Looked like for a moment he stepped out of bounds, but no.
Goodness. Touchdown for the Bobcats.
Super job staying in bounds.
But wait, there's laundry on the field.
Oh, no.
We'll have to see what it is.
Maybe post-foul or a post-possession.
Yeah, it could be a celebration. They did get a little hype there. People running everywhere. It's on them.
Hitting the back.
Looks like a blocking in the back for the Bobcats. And I guarantee you it was right here as he's running down the sidelines.
That ball came out.
It was right here. Yeah, right here as you're blocking in the back.
Oh, man, that's a ticky-tack. Jacoby Yates, that is number 2 there for the Bobcats coming up with the INT. Trammell, let's take a look at that one more time. Because
hey, Manny, this is what you call big boy in somebody. When he completely, get out of here, little boy. He big boy. And look at this. Just throw him down. Not even close. But he hit him from behind. Even not even behind. I think the roll's on just the back half of your shoulder. So,
well, the point is the Bobcats will have the football and
it'll assess it on them. So will they go back all the way back there?
No, the spot foul.
Spot foul. Okay.
So the Bobcats are looking to have the rock there at about the
30 or
30-yard line or so. It's a big turnover for them at that point. I mean, heck, this is turnover number 2.
They're gonna take the ball over at the 27-yard line.
Okay, so that will work. So we're seeing 2 turnovers tonight for the Bobcats. Is there a full moon out there? I mean, what's going on? I feel like the tides are turning. I mean, my goodness, I know we're close to Halloween, but wow.
Sheep are chasing coyotes.
Some crazy things are happening there at San Angelo Stadium because the Bobcats, they're looking like a team that we have not seen this entire season. 2 turnovers, and, I mean, just looking solid. Looking like, I mean, they're dominating this Midland High team tonight.
Well, Manny, sometimes you get a big change in the coaching staff, particularly the head guy. It just takes time for things to start gelling, and these kids are starting to buy into the program and understand what the coaching staff is trying to get them to do, and maybe it's a turning point tonight.
Yeah, no, without question. I think Coach Kevin Crane likely just lit a fire under these guys this week. I mean, something had to change. I mean, literally, when your postseason hopes and dreams of however you want to frame that, when it's on the line, goodness gracious, you got to show something. You got to show some sign of life. Tonight they're doing that, and it's good to see. We're seeing Jacoby Yates. This guy's a basketball player, convinced to play on the football team. I mean, this guy, he's a very athletic kid. In fact, you want to know where his roots come from? How about Cristobal, Texas? I played football with his uncle, Javier Riojas, back in 2002. 2003 there. He comes from a very athletic family, the Riojas family, Manuel Riojas from the six-man days of Cristobal Cougar football there. So Jacoby Yates showing us some good things from that defensive side of the ball. Not to mention, we're seeing, some guys going two ways.
You mentioned Cristobal. I did it might have been a state championship game years ago in Monahans. Cristobal was playing somebody. It was a driving rainstorm. And right before kickoff, it occurred to me that I knew nothing about six-man football.
It's a different game, Perry. It's a different game.
I found that out. I think I got a tutorial by a referee.
It'll take you for a ride. That's for sure. As much scoring that goes on with that. Meanwhile, Trammell, can you take us for a ride?
Yeah. So the Bobcats got the ball back, and they're running the clock. But when you run the clock, what things happen is you don't gain a lot of yards. So it was 3rd and about 5, false start. So now it's 3rd and 10. Let's see if they can convert here on 3rd down. And what better thing to do? We'll give it to the guy who's been doing it all night, Darius Floyd.
D. Floyd.
Yep. Doesn't get the full 10, but gets about 8. Going to make it 4th down and 2.
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
So Perry, 4th and 2, do you still like the Bobcats to at least go for this?
I say you keep it in the quarterback's hands. I mean, you haven't been successful with a field goal tonight, at least one time, and an extra point you've missed. You keep it in your playmaker's hand. I'd keep it in the quarterback's hand and put Floyd in front of him.
Yeah, definitely. There's not a lot of time left, so if you can get one more first down, you might milk this thing all the way to end.
Good point.
A touchdown, a score would completely just put this one away, I think. And
so they're going to actually go for a screen pass there. That was actually 3rd
Boston
down.
Johnson there.
Excuse me, that one was 3rd down. So now it's actually going to be, if they got it, I don't know if they got it. Let's see if they give it.
No signal from the line judge.
Yeah, so it's going to be, this is it where it's actually going to be, it's actually going to bring 4th and 1. Oh, actually they did give him the first.
1st and 10? Okay.
1st and 10. All right. Just kidding. Shout out to James Bellini, boots on the ground, helping us out with some live highlights here.
Actually, delayed highlights?
Delayed highlights?
Yeah.
They're highlights.
Courtesy of Berkshire Hathaway Home
they're
Services.
highlights.
Just keep it on the ground.
That's a good way to put it here as we enter the final moments of this ball game. And look at here, another Bobcat running back, Tyree Brawley, touchdown Bobcats.
Running it up.
Woo! Another guy getting in the end zone for the Angry Orange tonight. Is that...
Maybe we should have played on Thursday every night
I
this
know,
year, Manny.
I know, Trammell. So they're closing in on 41 points tonight. In fact, the Bobcats, they haven't put up... This is the most amount of points they've put up this entire season. The last time they put up this amount of points was against Friendship in a losing effort, 49-32. Tonight, that makes it, 41-17, Trammell?
That's right. And Manny, Bellini's telling me that was the very first carry for that kid's varsity career.
Oh, my gosh. Let's run that back one more time.
1-1.
Tyree Brawley.
I'd keep the football.
Yeah, not a
he
bad
looks
looking.
pretty quick, too. The show maybe show some good signs for our future here at the Central Bobcats.
Yeah, Samuel Navarrete unable to go tonight due to concussion protocol. The Bobcats kind of sidelining him. But man, oh man, Tyree Brawley giving us the goods along with Darius Floyd tonight. Darius Floyd, the guy number 15 you see right there, setting the lane. He's going both ways tonight. Offense, defense, Tyree Brawley doing the work here. Touchdown, 41-17 Bobcats. Fourth quarter, that could be it, fellas. That could be the nail in the coffin for this one.
I feel like it probably is. You're probably right. There's not a lot of time left. I think that leaves us with 2 minutes and 55 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
41-17. Bobcats are up by a lot.
Yeah, a lot. So when we talk about that, so 41 points, the most that they've put up this entire season. I mean, the last few weeks have just been, gosh, painful to watch. Last week against Odessa, 14 points. Week before that, 32 against Friendship. Against Tascosa, 28. Vandergrift, 13. So this is like Dr. Jekyll, Hyde type of thing here, where we're seeing two types of teams coming out to play tonight. Perry, I don't recognize this Bobcat team. I don't, and I kind of like it that I don't recognize them.
Well, it's a total effort tonight. You see blocking downfield that maybe in weeks earlier you didn't see. You've got kids down there that run into the end zone, for example. Everybody was on somebody.
Yeah, it's as my old high school football coach Tommy Davis used to say, get a hat on somebody. Bobcats are getting a hat on somebody. They're doing more than that, putting points on the board, making this one oh so much fun to watch.
So, Manny, I'm looking at this stat. It's saying Bobcats have not scored more than this since last year in the playoffs against El Paso Eastlake.
Oh my god!
But before that, guess when it was?
Break it down.
A year ago against the Midland High Bulldogs when we won 54 to 31. So the Bobcats must just have the Bulldogs number.
Yeah, that they needed that. Trammell enlightening us with the knowledge tonight. That's good stuff.
Gotcha.
Now they're going to the air, and that's what they're going to have to do. And certainly if they make those catches, it's going to keep the ball in bounds, and the time will keep going, except they'll stop the clock to move the chains.
Yeah. Well,
but this one's over.
Yeah, let's take a look at
that pass. Yeah, definitely. Here you go, by Berkshire Hathaway. We don't see it a lot by Midland, but here it is, and there's just a little hitch route. Gets it all the way to about the 46-yard line.
First down
for the Bulldogs. About under 2 minutes.
Okay, so, I mean, they're in desperation mode at this point. They're trying to get something. I don't know. I mean, this obviously is just all in the Bobcats' hands at this point. Midland High, I think they kind of they couldn't get anything going in the third quarter, and I think they were just running the football too much, Perry.
They were, the Bobcats came out in the second half. They made some adjustments defensively, and it kind of took away some of that run and those big plays. So it kind of got them to scratching their heads, and I think that here in the fourth quarter they might have kind of saw the writing on the wall, maybe a little panic. But look, it's going to be a beautiful night in San Angelo Stadium.
Yeah, very exciting.
For sure. So here we are as we kind of see the countdown to that one. 19 seconds left. 41-17. Bobcats. Man, this is good to see, folks. The Bobcats has just been on the struggle bus this entire season. And to get a win tonight is huge. It restores their playoff hopes. They're not really having to rely on too much of – I mean, they're going to have to rely on some win for some folks to lose down the stretch, but this at least gives them a little bit of control of their own destiny.
Right, and I don't know, do they take 4 teams out of 6A?
They do. They take 4 teams.
So another win – maybe another 2 wins. Another 2 wins would guarantee you a slot.
Yeah, they're going to need to go on a big winning run here, or one of these big powerhouses are going to have to lose.
Yeah, I think, next week it makes it easier for the Bobcats because they have a bye, so they kind of have a chance to maybe enjoy this one just a little bit tonight, but then more importantly, they have a chance to lick their wounds. They're going to get Sammy Navarrete back next time around against Midland Legacy, but man, oh man, does that down the stretch of the season get really difficult for them.
Man, they're going to know how to do it, though. I mean, they'll have a whole week in which to work and game plan and watch film and everything and enjoy this victory. And they get a taste of it tonight, and certainly an outstanding effort by the Bobcats, both offensively and defensively, and that's a lot to build on.
Yeah, no, for sure, and it's nice to see that the Bobcats. Trammell, is this one officially gone final?
Yes, this is officially done, Dunsky.
All right,
Bobcats win.
The Bobcats, your winner tonight, 41-17. How about that? It's Gosh, we have not had the opportunity to say that a whole lot this season, and they finally get it done. And I think this one was collectively probably, I mean, I know it's ending up in a win and everything is good with that, but they just showed us so much good tonight. And the fact that defensively, offensively, it was like an orchestra putting it together. That's exactly what they did tonight.
Well, you saw them each and every quarter they got better, and I think if you look at the stats, that's going to bear that out, particularly defensively. Now they gave up some points in that first half, but then they made the necessary adjustments. And they got hats on bodies, as you eloquently put, but they did what they needed to do. They kind of figured it out, and my hat's off to them because they, like you said, they had their troubles.
That they did, and it's nice to see them, really kind of just flex a little bit, and nothing wrong with that, as they move forward. 41-17, the Bobcats, your winner tonight from San Angelo Stadium. Will be efforting some sound with head coach, Kevin Crane. This guy's just been it's been difficult for him, to say the least, the last few weeks, and I feel like we've been Debbie Downer with him, in his press conferences on Mondays, and gosh, he's been taking it like a champ. He's been a guy that's kind of just weathered the storm tonight. He and his team did just that as they pick up a win tonight, 41-17 against the Midland High Bulldogs. I imagine this is consecutive years that they've been able to do this against the Bulldogs. So good stuff for them. There we are. SA Central defeats Midland High 41-17. So, all right, Trammell, anything or efforting maybe some sound with
nothing yet. Just the guys down there having all the fun.
There's a celebration going on.
Yeah,
that's the best part, man.
Celebrate, good times. Come on. All right, so Trammell, I know you've kind of been a guy that's been very critical of the Bobcats, which rightfully, I mean, we should be critical of them, but can you tell us kind of what your thoughts on this one are tonight?
I'm actually really, really, really impressed. I think we actually, from our side, kind of gave the Bulldogs a little more credit than what they were. I don't think that they were anything impressive to, ride the ship home with. But the Bobcats did play good. They won the game that they were supposed to. Everyone had this game circled at the beginning of the season. So, we went into some questions going in and losing to Friendship and losing to Odessa. But I think some of the questions were answered. We're not going to be the worst team in the district because at least we got a win. Hopefully we can go and we can play good against Odessa Permian because we showed that we can play and beat the triple option. And then maybe with that momentum, we can maybe muster up something to go against Abilene or Legacy. But definitely it's going to be a very tough couple weeks. But the good thing is there's a bye week, so hopefully they'll be able to watch some film and pull out another crazy win.
I think you're going to see a different football team coming after that bye week. I mean, with this win tonight, that's a signature win. They did what they needed to do. They took that football in the third quarter, took it down the field and scored. The defense got a couple of 3-and-outs, and certainly that sent a message to the rest of the district, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, definitely did. As the Bobcats, they got their first win of the Little Southwest Conference play, taking down Midland High tonight, 41-17. I mean, it's been such a struggle this season for them to see them put it together. Nice, good stuff for them tonight. Proud of these Bobcats. Proud of this defensive unit tonight. We saw interception from Jacoby Yates. We saw some big hits.
The fumble.
The fumble recovery. We'll have to go back to the tape and see who got that one there. But man, oh man, what a collection of guys that really participated tonight.
Manny, I tell you what, we haven't talked about the La Esperanza play of the game yet, but I tell you what, it has to be that 85-yard run by Tyler Hill. Dude, that was quick. He got there in a hurry.
I tell you what, Trammell, I know we're efforting sound with Ryan Chadwick, but if you can dial up that play, I know we want to see that.
I don't know if I can anymore.
Well, it was a total team effort. I'll say that for the Bobcats tonight, and I take it that there haven't been that many efforts like this during the season. I haven't had an opportunity to follow the Bobcats as close as I'd like, but I'm impressed.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch tonight. I do like. I think probably if there's a player of the game, if there's somebody that really stood out tonight, has to be absolutely without question Darius Floyd, junior running back / junior defensive lineman. This guy, for him to go both ways, especially with Samuel Navarrete out due to concussion protocol. Because we were talking about that, it's like, okay, it's going to have to be him, and it's going to have to be Tyler Hill, perhaps another guy that steps in. But Darius Floyd, he kind of took the reins a little bit and said, "Hey, hop on, let's go for a ride." And that this Central Bobcat team did tonight as they cruised to a 41-17 win. Probably one of their most. I mean, this without question is their most. It is their most. Dominating outing, dominating effort tonight, but it's probably one of the most impressive of the season, which is a good thing. Hopefully, now that they'll go into the bye week, they get a little bit of momentum because they're going to need every bit of that against Midland Legacy in 2 more weeks at San Angelo Stadium as they host the favorite of the district and probably one of the better teams in Texas high school football. They're ranked, I believe, in the top 20. Woo! Midland Legacy, they're going to come into Angelo with a little something to play for. Yeah.
Well, you've got to take hats off to the coaching staff for Central tonight. To start this ball game, Midland was having a lot of success with those big plays with the quarterback and everything else. Second half, you didn't see that, and that was the adjustments made at the half. Whether they shifted, they saw something, they shifted the personnel around that they needed to kind of limit that big play. And to me, that hats off to the coaching staff because that's something that they saw from upstairs, put it downstairs, and they were able to make the adjustments and get the win.
Yeah, it was a good outing for these guys tonight. Bobcats, your winner tonight, 41-17. I know for the folks out in Facebook or on YouTube land, I know I know you're eager to talk about this one. If you want to drop us a line, tell us about this. Tell us about your thoughts tonight. How nice it is to see these Cats finally get in the win column here in the district season because boy, oh boy, did they need it. So if you have any comments, if you want to just tell us how you feel. The Angry Orange back in the win column tonight. Trammell, defensively, did these guys
defensively, it was a completely
what did they do
different
for you tonight
team out there. I think that defensively it was a completely different team, but they haven't had. They were blessed to play a team that that played to the defense's strengths, I guess. The Bobcats secondary is atrocious usually. So for a team that doesn't have to throw the ball, that really bodes well for them, especially since they can put up those numbers of like 41 like they did tonight, or even 35 what they did to Friendship even though they lost. So with the defense, it's always like, you got to hang and bang and you got to be able to just hang in there while your offense lights them up. But this week they actually kind of buckled down, and were able to stop an offense that has been proven that can work. Like that offense definitely worked against Odessa High. Midland High beat Odessa High, so they that offense definitely works. But Central was just able to shut it down tonight.
Yeah, that they did. It was a good outing for them. Picked up 2 turnovers. One was a fumble. One was an interception. Interception courtesy of Jacoby Yates, basketball player for the Bobcats. Tonight, he pretty darn good football player. So it's a big win for them. 41-17 over Midland High. That moves them to 1-2 in district play and 3-4 over. Yeah, 3-4 overall. 1-2 in district play. Next week it comes. It's a bye week. The week after that, Midland Legacy. So we'll kind of see what kind of happens along the way with that. I know we're waiting on some post-game sound with Kevin Crane. Trammell, are you able to kind of take a look at any of those plays from the game?
No. Oh, there's Chadwick right there.
Okay.
That's the guy I was trying to get a hold of.
In the meantime, let's see. All right. Let's see. Trammell, let's do this here. All right, so we'll come back. We'll go over here. All right, so let's stick with this for a moment here. I know we're the Bobcats, your winner tonight, 41-17. Perry Curnutt joining us here on the broadcast, usually the wall play-by-play guy. Trammell, if you want to switch seats with Chadwick, we'll have the Bobcat resident connoisseur in with this one here, and joining us here, Ryan Chadwick. You can catch his write-up on SanAngeloLive.com. Chadwick, welcoming you to the broadcast. Big win tonight for the Bobcats because it rejuvenated their playoff hopes. How do your thoughts tonight?
Oh, Manny, I'm excited right now. I'm not going to lie to you. We finally got to see what a healthy Bobcat defense can do. And, I mean, as you can see, good things happened. Yeah, they gave up a couple big plays in the first half, but, Manny, that second half, though, shut the Bulldogs out in the second half, had a takeaway that basically sealed the game. That only got called – it was a pick six. It got called back for blocking the back, but – I don't know. Like I'm feeling pretty good right now. Like I said before, or at halftime, whenever we talked earlier, that the Bobcats needed to score on that opening possession, and they had probably their most complete drive of the entire season on that first drive in the second half. Healthy mix of both rush and pass. We need to give the ball to Darius Floyd more. That man is very hard to tackle, and he had over 100 yards rushing. I think his stat line, I think it's 17 carries for like 140 yards, 137 yards, something like that. Tyler Hill had 12 carries for 200 and something yards. Like Bobcats were all over the place on the ground, and they finally stopped trying to force the ball through the air. And I'm like, these guys can run the ball. The offensive line is big. Like. They're getting their noses dirty. They're blowing up the Midland defensive line. Like I don't know. Like it was overall, it was a very complete game for both sides of the ball for the Bobcats.
Yeah. Speaking of Darius Floyd, I mean, this guy. You mentioned what he did offensively, but defensively, I mean, this guy was playing both ways.
Mm-hmm. The entire game.
Yeah.
Too.
How clutch was that tonight? I mean, with Sammy Navarrete out, I mean, this guy. It appeared. I mean, if there's a player of the game tonight, I mean, without question, in my mind, it has to be Darius Floyd.
Well, 140 yards on the ground. That's going to wear that defense out, particularly that front, the front defensive line for Midland High. They're probably still sucking wind because I mean they just got hammered, and that takes a lot out of them. And you start getting a little fatigued. Then those holes start opening, and they open frequently.
Oh, yeah, and to build on that, they weren't just 140 yards on the ground. Like when Floyd had the ball, he ran over 5 or 6 guys on his way to that 140 yards. So yeah, completely agree. Like he played great tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan Chadwick joining us now. Bobcats defeat Midland High 41-17, move to 1-2 in district play. Have next week off due to a bye. The week after that against Midland Legacy. How much does this just rejuvenate this team as they kind of – do you think that this gives them a little bit more life as in hopes of a playoff push?
Oh, absolutely. The Bobcats needed to break this losing streak, right? And the way they played tonight and the fact that they're getting a little bit healthier on the defensive side of the ball, not only do they win, they won in like very decisive fashion too. Going into that bye, like I know it's still Midland Legacy, and like they're obviously the best team in this district, but they have 2 weeks to prepare for them. Most of these guys that are hurt on the offense side of the ball, they'll be back by then too. Like we might see the healthiest and strongest Bobcat team of the season, like traveling up to play, or they're hosting them, right?
Yeah,
like,
hosting Midland Legacy.
When Midland Legacy comes to town, like you might see a Bobcat team that's ready to play, and if they can beat them, I mean.
Well, you saw 3 good backs tonight, 3 running backs for the Bobcats. That's going to put some pressure on any defense because those guys, they're talented, they can run, and we saw that tonight. And, you got a 3-headed monster you're going to have to contend with. Who are you going to practice against? You can practice against the guy with 140 or the guy that, just slipped through your defense practically untouched for a touchdown. So it's going to put some pressure on Legacy. The Bobcats, they can build off this, and I mean, no better way to start winning than tonight, and they did in a big way against a pretty good football team.
Yeah, so the next matchup for the Bobcats against Midland Legacy, you can see it here on the screen there, Ryan, that is the rebel with the cause, McKylan Young. This guy, the senior running back, 155 carries on the season, 1,013 yards, 18 touchdowns. He's averaging about 202 yards per game, 203 yards per game. Do you think the Bobcats have a chance against this guy and that insanely exciting Midland Legacy offense?
See, the great thing about football, Manny, is the age-old adage is any given Sunday, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, I'm not going to lie to you. Midland Legacy is one of the more athletic teams in the state this year. You know, so they're a very well put together team. The running backs are very talented. Their offensive line is very big, and they're good at what they do. But hey, like I said, Bobcats got healthy on defense tonight. Darius Floyd is destroying on the defensive line. Like he disrupted, you know, several of those plays just by blowing up the guy in front of him. He's big and strong, you know. So like that might do something in the Bobcats' favor. You never know. The secondary is getting better. I still think if the Bobcats are going to win that one, it's not going to be a defensive battle. They're going to have to just outscore the Midland Legacy. So like we'll see. You know, like I'm not going to say that the Bobcats have a good chance of winning because like I'm being real about this, but. Anything could happen.
You're giving them a puncher's chance.
Yeah, exactly.
A puncher's chance against a team that's regarded to be the best team in West Texas, one of the best teams in the region. I mean, this is a team that could just dismantle Central. But I like your thought process in this, and the fact that in an effort to beat Midland Legacy, they're probably going to have to just have a shootout with them.
Oh yeah,
and you know why not?
Well, defensively, you got to concentrate on the running back, McKylan Young, and if the Bobcats are able to kind of contain him, and could change the complexion of that ball game because if they're not, if Midland Legacy's not used to coming out and just having their way, then it's like tonight and put some doubt in them, and you know anything could happen on a Friday night, on a Sunday, you know, injury. That could change the complexion of the game. So there's a lot a lot of variables in a football game, and certainly you'd think that Legacy'd be well favored. Probably they should be, but I like the Bobcats' chances from what I saw tonight.
Yeah, I like them too.
I will say that if the Bobcats are going to win that game, their offense has to control time of possession.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Final thought with you, Ryan Chadwick, before we let you go. Thoughts? How much? I mean, the Bobcats have just been defeated this season for the most part. How much should they enjoy this one tonight?
Well, first off, congratulations to Coach Crane on his first district win. That's a big deal. They need to enjoy this, but they need to get back to work quick. They kind of dropped the ball a bit by not showing up as much as they could have against the first two opponents in district play, you know, in Friendship and Odessa High. So they don't really have time to, you know, celebrate too much. But this weekend, you know, enjoy it tonight, enjoy the film session tomorrow, and then just get ready to go because like they got some serious work to do in the next 2 weeks.
All right, Ryan Chadwick, he is our resident Bobcat connoisseur. You can catch his write-up on SanAngeloLive.com. He's going to break it down. Always enjoy your write-ups. Chadwick, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much. We will see you in Week 8. How about that?
All right, thanks, Manny. Appreciate it.
All right, Chadwick, thank you so much. Perry, as we kind of get ready to put this one up, put a bow on this one, how much do you like the Bobcats to be able to at least, you know, have some fun with this down the stretch? You know, I know that the next 3 games are coming against Odessa Permian, Midland Legacy, Abilene. You know, do you think that do you think this kind of gives them a little bit of hope against some of those teams?
It gives them. It tells me that they realize tonight that they can play, and they can play as a team, as a total team effort. I like their chances. I look for them to get one of those slots in the playoffs. It might not. You're not going to get number 1 seed, but you could get the number 3, number 4, And, once you get the momentum going, you get things going your way, they could put it all together and make a pretty good run. And I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's let's see, it's been interesting to see what the Bobcats have been able to do this season. It was crazy fun watching them tonight. Saw a lot of great things from them offensively, defensively. They worked cohesively tonight. As the defense got turnovers, gave it to the offense. The offense kind of just took it from there. Matt Trammell, I know we looks like we just got some sound from San Angelo Stadium, some post-game sound with Kevin Crane. I know we'll be efforting that here. If you can, I know Bellini just sent that in here just a few moments ago. If you can effort that for us. Man, oh man, the next few weeks, they're going to be tough. I mean, we can't discount that, but I think there is an opportunity to kind of enjoy this one here tonight.
Yeah, and they're going to, and, they're going to learn a lot about themselves. They'll watch that film and they'll realize that, hey, we can put this all together. It's still not too late. We can make a run. And you look for the coaching staff to build on that, and the kids themselves, they look at each other and figure out, well, we were in this ball game. We took control of this ball game against a pretty good football team. We're pretty good.
Yeah, that they are tonight, and winners, big winners tonight, 41-17 against Midland High. Meanwhile, let's go back to San Angelo Stadium. Let's get the post-game thoughts from San Angelo Central head coach Kevin Crane.
Coach Kevin Crane, the Bobcats got their first win against the Midland Bulldogs. How's it feel to get your first district win?
It was a great team win. I mean, all three sides of the ball pulled together, offense, defense, special teams, and got the job done. I mean, it feels great, but credit to our kids and credit to our assistant coaches putting together a great game plan, and then the kids go out and execute it, and that's what it's all about.
Now, in the press conference on Monday, you mentioned you made some changes in the secondary. You mentioned Darius Floyd getting some defensive work. How much did that contribute to locking down today?
I think it helped. I think defensively, I really can't say enough good things about them tonight. I mean, they played well, kept the ball in front of them, didn't allow very many big plays, and that's a really good offense. They run that offense well, and they're a really good quarterback. And so, to only give up 17 points tonight, credit to our defense and our defensive staff.
All right, Bobcat head coach Kevin Crane breaking it down for that. And he touched on it, and, that's something that he talked about in the press conference, in his press conference on Monday, was the defense, how we might see some guys, I guess they might not experiment, but we might see some guys potentially playing both ways. We saw that with Darius Floyd tonight, and it paid off big time because Darius Floyd, not only was he doing things offensively, carrying the rock, but man, he was in on some big tackles with them tonight, and it was good to see. Defensively, they needed this game tonight for sure.
Hopefully they can have somebody come in and take his place there, and at least spell him a little bit on defense, because you don't want to wear him out. Yeah. I mean, he's a good weapon.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like they had 3 different running backs, so no matter what, it looks like they'll be set back there in their backfield. Even that young guy that came in and got that touchdown at the end, he looked pretty quick, so they'll be okay.
Yeah, so it's a good outing for them tonight. I think this is exactly what they needed. This is the recipe that they needed to make a move down the stretch of this season, because their playoff lives were on the line, folks. I mean, nobody wants to go 0-3 in a district. Tonight, they said, hold the phone. We're not ready to wave the white flag just yet. 1-2 now in district play. There's still a glimmer of hope for the San Angelo Central Bobcats as they pick up the win tonight over Midland High, 41-17. All right, final thoughts from you, gentlemen, as we get ready to wrap this one up. We'll start with you, Trammell. Thoughts on the night?
All right, my final thoughts of the night are I'm ready for tomorrow night, because tomorrow night's going to be even more fun than tonight. Yeah, the Bobcats won tonight, but tomorrow we got a lot of good action. Odessa Permian. We're going to get to watch maybe McKylan Young put up crazy numbers in the Midland League game, and then also we're going to see Corbin Covarrubias, throw for 1,000,000 yards tomorrow against Miles. So I'm really excited for all this. And tomorrow, just for you, Perry, I'll throw this out there. They're going to honor the 1971 Wall Hawks for the only undefeated team, and they're going to be doing it against the San Angelo TLCA, which is always a huge blowout. So Wall's going to win by 1,000,000 tomorrow night too. It's going to be a great night of football. So my final thoughts is, as much as tonight was fun, tomorrow night is going to be even better.
Yeah, we'll have the 50th anniversary team captains up in the box tomorrow night at halftime for an interview, and there's a lot of things going on at Wall tomorrow night, so we're going to have a lengthy halftime, to say the least, and we hope that everybody comes out and helps us celebrate homecoming, and if not, listen to us on the radio.
Yeah, that's certainly going to be a lot of fun to watch. Tip of the cap to those Wall Hawks there. I tell you, folks, this was a good time tonight. Angry Orange Nation, they got some hope restored back. If there was a time to get a win, it was tonight. The Bobcats victorious 41-17, big win.
They're going to the playoffs.
You think so? You calling it?
I'm calling it.
Hot take over here.
I'm calling it. I took the Astros too.
Perry Curnutt calling the Bobcats, saying they're going to the postseason, tonight. In fact, I think I was one of the only folks here in the office that actually said Central was going to win.
I think it was you, Perry.
No.
You, Perry.
Yeah.
You, Perry, and Sonia.
Yeah. Everybody else was saying, no,
Yep.
Midland's going to come in and just,
Well,
rain on the Bobcats parade.
We know a little bit of high school football.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. I hope these cats enjoy the win tonight. More importantly, I hope they get healthy, and I hope they're ready for this Midland Legacy team, because they are going to need it in the next few weeks, because that Legacy team, they are pretty darn good, especially led by senior running back McKylan Young. So I'm looking forward to this one, folks. I'm looking forward to a number of great games tomorrow night. We'll break down the rest of the Little Southwest Conference, along with this game out in Runnels County, El Dorado v. Miles, Corbin Covarrubias. Matt Trammell touched on it probably the best way he could. Corbin Covarrubias is a guy, he's a highlight machine waiting to happen. If you enjoy that, if you like seeing big stats, tune in. We will have coverage of that game tomorrow night, along with the rest of the Little Southwest Conference. All right. Well, that's going to do it for our coverage tonight here on SanAngeloLive.com. This has been Cover 1 Live for Perry Curnutt, Matt Trammell, James Bellini, Ryan Chadwick, and the rest of our crew. Good night. God bless. We will see you tomorrow night for the Week 8 wrap-up of the Texas high school football season. Good night. God bless.
Who say they want it? Who say they ready? See, you might not like it, but you gon' respect it, cause this is West Texas. Who say they want it? Who say they ready? Hey, coach, they might not like it, but they gon' respect it, cause this is West Texas. I said it's game time. Hey, coach, they know it's game time. You know it's game time? I said it's game time. Come on. Hey, coach, they know it's game time. Hey, who say they want? We want it. Who say they ready? We ready. They might not like, we like it, but this is West Texas. They gon' respect. First off, I got my grades up, so I deserve every moment that I'm out on the field. I've been in practice all week, so you know what it is. We ain't come for the win, but we came for the kill.